staying in cool or shaded areas whenever possible. In the meantime, more than 33,000 people are expected to be affected by this year's monsoon season in Nepal's Sudur Paschim province, according to official estimates. Provincial authorities have intensified preparedness measures to reduce potential damage from floods, landslides, inundation and riverbank erosion, which are among the major monsoon-related threats facing the region. The provincial government, in coordination with local governments, is strengthening disaster preparedness efforts and implementing preventive measures ahead of the peak monsoon period. Officials said a dedicated task force is being formed to oversee monsoon disaster management, while a response plan is being finalized and prepared for implementation. Now, the plan is aimed at improving coordination, emergency response and relief operations in areas considered vulnerable to natural disasters. Authorities have urged communities in high-risk zones to remain alert as the monsoon season approaches, warning that heavy rainfall could trigger widespread flooding and landslides across parts of the province. Moving on, the district-level conventions of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party, RSP, has kicked across Nepal. According to a decision of the party's Central Committee, district conventions are being held in 37 districts today, while conventions in an additional 29 districts are scheduled for Sunday. On the occasion of the district conventions, RSP President Rabi Lamichhane said that all party members must demonstrate patience, sacrifice and dedication to fulfill the responsibilities entrusted by the times. In a social media message regarding the conventions taking place this weekend, Lamichhane said the time has come for the party to transform from I to we, emphasizing collective leadership and unity. Meanwhile, addressing the inauguration of the Kathmandu District Convention, RSP General Secretary Kabindra Burlakoti said the party aims to complete convention in 67 of Nepal's 77 districts before its first National General Convention. He stated that nepotism, favoritism and dynastic politics are explicitly prohibited by the party's statute and warned that no one should be allowed to mislead members or create confusion that could weaken the organization during the convention process. Time now for a short break. We shall be back with more updates. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Welcome back. Nepal's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Sisir Khanal, who is currently in India visit, met with Bharatiya Janata Party's Foreign Department Chief Vijay Chauthaiwala in New Delhi, India today. During the meeting, matters related to further strengthening bilateral relations and deepening party-to-party and people-to-people ties were discussed, according to the Nepali embassy in New Delhi. Foreign Minister Khanal is currently in New Delhi on a 3-day official visit at the friendly invitation of his Indian counterpart S. Jaishankar. He reached Delhi on Friday and is scheduled to return home tomorrow. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has asserted that terrorism must carry consequences and outlined the key principles shaping India's foreign policy in a podcast with DD News. Discussing the evolution of India's foreign policy over the past decade, Minister Dr. Jaishankar said the country's diplomatic approach has undergone significant transformation driven by changes in the global landscape and the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He also added that strengthening ties with neighboring countries remains a central pillar of India's foreign policy.
Diplomacy is not about freezing advantageous situations and saying that will stay there forever. Diplomacy is about planning for those ups and downs and putting in place structures and relationships which do. If you are there for your neighbors, you are there for your neighbors when COVID hits them, when they have a fertilizer crisis, when they have a power crisis, when they are short of fuel, many of them sometimes have food issues, whatever it is. That sense that look, a growing India, a rising India is to your advantage, and where there are problems, you have to wait it out. It's not a question of strategic restraint. But diplomacy is not an impatient business. It's not a knee-jerk response to what happens.
Nepal's Minister for Information and Communication, Dr. Bikram Timosina, has said the ruling party, Rashtriya Swatantra Party, has no excuse to follow the political practices of the past that it has itself questioned. On a different note, the Communications Minister acknowledged complaints regarding poor mobile and internet networks in rural areas. He said works are at progress to significantly improve mobile and internet network connectivity across the country within a year.
नेपाल सरकारको सूचना तथा सञ्चार मन्त्रालय चाहिँ मैले यो मन्त्रालय अन्तर्गत काम गरिरहेको हुनाले यहाँ विभिन्न किसिमका अन्य कामहरू गर्नको लागि पनि नेटवर्क जस्तो टेलिकम्युनिकेसनमा काम गर्नको लागि एजुकेसनमा स्मार्ट एजुकेसनमा काम गर्नको लागि पहिलो बेसिक नीड भनेको चाहिँ नेटवर्कको सस्टेनेबिलिटी हुन्छ भन्ने महत्त्वलाई सरकारले बुझेको छ। आउँदो 1.5 वर्षभित्र देशभरि नेटवर्कका समस्याहरू समाधान।
Now, the government of Nepal has introduced revised customs provisions for passengers entering Nepal through Tribhuvan International Airport and other entry points. Under the new rules, items such as mobile phones, televisions and gold jewelry will be subject to defined limits, exemptions and inspection-based clearance. Authorities say the changes aim to streamline import procedures while clearly defining duty-free allowances and penalties for excess goods. Rojina Rai along with Kamala Aryal digs deeper into the issue.
Government of Nepal has introduced a new customs rules for travelers entering via Tribhuvan International Airport and other entry points. Items such as mobile phones, televisions and gold jewelry are now subject to inspection and may be taxed, exempted or confiscated depending on quantity and category. Nepali citizens returning after at least 1 year abroad can now bring a television up to 65 inches duty-free, up from the previous 32-inch limit. However, the earlier provision allowing Social Security Fund members to import any size TV duty-free has removed. Travelers are also allowed to carry a power bank. Gold jewelry limits have been set at 25 grams for men and 50 grams for women without duty. Excess amounts are taxed by 3% and higher quantities of raw gold face increasing duties or confiscation if beyond 100 grams. Passengers may bring one used laptop or tablet, one desktop or computer, one watch, one camera, one video camera, and one mobile phone duty-free. Returning workers after 6 months abroad may also bring one additional new mobile phone without duty. For land border entries from India and China, travelers can bring goods worth up to 500 Nepali rupees duty-free, up from 100 rupees last year. Existing exemptions for Nepali students returning from India with the laptops and computers remain unchanged.
Time again for a short breather. We shall be back with international updates. Russian authorities say Ukraine has launched an unprecedented attack on and around St. Petersburg as the city hosts the final day of Russia's annual economic forum. More than 140 drones were shot down over the surrounding Leningrad region, Governor Alexander Drozdenko said, while the city's governor, Alexander Beglov, urged residents to remain indoors for the first time since the war began. Ukraine's president said his forces hit Russia's arsenals and a naval base in what he called a just response to Russian attacks. It comes a day after Vladimir Putin told the forum there was no point in meeting Volodymyr Zelensky, who had called for direct talks on ending the war. Zelensky posted on social media on Saturday to say it was time to end this war, but accused Russia's leader of wanting to keep fighting. The shaky ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran has been tested further, with American forces targeting Iranian drones and radar sites and Iran firing missiles at U.S. bases in the Gulf. The U.S. military said it intercepted 7 missiles fired by Iran at Kuwait and Bahrain after Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said it attacked enemy bases in the region. Earlier, the U.S. said its forces shot down 4 Iranian drones launched towards the Strait of Hormuz and struck Iranian coastal surveillance radar sites on Qasem Island and Goruk on Iran's southern coast. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi responded to accusations that Lebanon is being used as a bargaining chip in talks with the U.S. leveled by Lebanon's President Aoun, saying if this were true, Iran could have secured a deal a long time ago. Meanwhile, an Israeli attack on southern Lebanon killed 2 Lebanese army officers and 1 soldier. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said that Iran still has 21 to 22% of its missiles left as he sat down to speak with NBC News.
But they have some left. No, but I know almost to the number, and we know where they are too. And we know where their drones are, and we know where their drone factories are. Most of the drone factories have been knocked out. Most of the launching pads have been knocked out, and most of the missile manufacturing areas have been knocked out. But they still have capacity. They have some missiles. They have some drones. I would say percentage-wise, maybe 21, 22% of their missiles. It's a lot of missiles, but it's not what it was when we first attacked.
Now, hundreds of supporters of the Cockroach Janata Party, CJP, a satirical social media movement, gathered in New Delhi to protest alleged irregularities in India's major competitive examination. Demonstrators wearing paper cockroach masks demanded the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over question paper leaks and technical failures in national exams. The protest follows the cancellation of a nationwide medical college entrance examination after investigators uncovered a paper leak, sparking widespread criticism and concern among students. The movement, which has attracted millions of online followers, was led by Avijit Dipke, a Boston University graduate who arrived from the United States to join the demonstrations. Now, CJP emerged after reports that Chief Justice Surya Kant compared government critics to cockroaches and parasites during a court hearing, triggering backlash among young Indians. Now, the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, and the World Health Organization launched a joint continental preparedness and response plan on the ongoing Ebola outbreak caused by the Bundibugyo virus. The plan aims to raise $518 million to support African countries together with partners for prepare to rapidly detect and respond to the outbreak. The plan also focuses on protecting vulnerable populations, strengthening cross-border collaboration and supporting countries to respond quickly to new cases. At a time when there are no licensed vaccines or therapeutics specifically approved for the Bundibugyo species of Ebola, the plan aims to strengthen health systems to ensure resilience even as countries respond to acute health emergencies. Let's take a short breather here. We shall be back with more updates. A worsening air leak aboard the International Space Station prompted 5 astronauts to take shelter and prepare for evacuation for roughly 2 hours on Friday as Russia attempted to fix a crack on its portion of the orbital laboratory, NASA said. The 4 astronauts of NASA's Crew 12 mission aboard the station, 2 Americans, a French astronaut, and a Russian cosmonaut, along with another U.S. astronaut, were ordered by NASA Mission Control at 9:04 a.m. ET on Friday to enter their SpaceX-built Crew Dragon spacecraft docked to the station. NASA reversed that order roughly 2 hours later and told the astronauts they could return to the station as the agency and its Russian counterparts examine the rate of leaking air. NASA and Russia's space agency's Roscosmos, the station's 2 primary operators, have debated for months over the cause and potential fixes of small air leaks aboard Russia's Zvezda service module, a key structure of the ISS, a football field-sized orbital laboratory where astronauts live and work in space. Now, Roscosmos said on Friday that its experts had detected 2 leaks aboard the ISS, but that there was no immediate threat to the crew. Moving on, Pope Leo XIV said that sexual abuse within the Catholic Church remains an open wound as he arrived in Spain for a week-long state visit. The pontiff, on his first trip to the country since assuming the papacy, was welcomed in Madrid by King Felipe VI, Queen Letizia and Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez at the Madrid airport. During the visit, Pope Leo is scheduled to meet victims of clergy sexual abuse, a long-standing issue that has shaken the church in Spain. A 2023 report by Spain's National Ombudsman estimated that around 200,000 minors suffered abuse since 1940, prompting a compensation agreement between the government and the church earlier this year in March. Now, the rare yellow lip reverse tulips have begun blooming in the Turkey's Kars, adding vibrant colors to the region's breathtaking landscape. Following nearly 10 days and intermittent rainfall, the endemic flowers emerged in the Subsidiary area, located at an altitude of 2,500 meters and about 10 kilometers from the district center. Surrounded by snow-capped mountains and pine forests, the blooming tulips have attracted nature enthusiasts and amateur photographers. The yellow-lipped tulip, a unique species of reverse tulip, grows naturally in the Subsidiary region, making it one of the area's most remarkable natural treasures. Time for a sports update. Nepal suffered a 69-run defeat against Hong Kong women's cricket team in its final group stage match of the ACC Women's Premier Cup held today. Chasing a target of 110 runs, Nepal was bowled out for just 40 runs in 13.3 overs after a dramatic batting collapse. For Nepal, Soni Pakrin was the top scorer with 12 runs, while Rubina Chetri contributed 10 runs. Hong Kong's bowling attack dominated the match, with Ikra Shahar producing an outstanding spell of 4 wickets for 4 runs from her 4 overs. Earlier, after losing the toss and being invited to bat first, Hong Kong posted 109 for 3 in its allotted 20 overs. For Nepal, Riya Sharma and Rubina Chetri picked up 1 wicket each. Despite the defeat, Nepal has already secured qualification for the quarter-finals before the match and advances to the knockout stage of the tournament. Lionel Messi is recovering well from a recent muscle injury and could feature in Argentina's final World Cup warm-up matches. Argentine head coach Lionel Scaloni has said the 38-year-old Messi suffered a muscle strain while playing for Inter Miami 10 days ago, raising concerns over his fitness ahead of the World Cup.
Ya una parte con el grupo, que eso es importante. ya no está totalmente diferenciado, así que viene bastante bien, incluso puede ser que forme parte de alguno de los partidos, algunos minutos de estos dos amistosos, ya veremos si el de mañana o el otro, pero está bastante mejor y eso nos da tranquilidad.
Reigning World Cup champions Argentina will face Honduras in Texas on Saturday before playing Iceland in Alabama on Tuesday in their final friendlies ahead of the World Cup. Moving on, animals at Mexico's Guadalajara Zoo have been enlisted to predict the outcomes of matches at the FIFA World Cup 2026. Zoo veterinarian Ivan Reynoso said elephants selected Mexico over South Africa, while the gorillas backed Uruguay over Spain. A puma predicted a South Korea victory against the Czech Republic, and giraffes chose the Republic of the Congo to beat Colombia. The predictions come just days before the 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off on June 11. The tournament, the first to be jointly hosted by the United States, Mexico and Canada, will feature a record 48 teams competing across 16 cities in North America. And before we wrap up, here's a reminder of our top stories once again. Monsoon expected within a week as Nepal braces for delayed onset. Delay pushes temperatures higher across the country. RSP's district conventions begin ahead of National General Convention. Chair Lamichane emphasizes on collective leadership and unity. Nepal's foreign minister meets BJP's foreign department chief Cholthai Wale in New Delhi to return home tomorrow, concluding his visit. US and Iran exchange strikes in Gulf in latest test of ceasefire. Tehran responds by targeting US bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Russia says Ukrainian drones hit St. Petersburg. Attack comes a day after Putin rejected talks with Zelensky. And Nepal suffers 69-run defeat to Hong Kong in ACC Women's Premier Cup. However, advances to quarterfinals despite defeat. That is all for the moment. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting, PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it.
NTV World. Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
This is The World This Week, your weekly roundup of the latest international events and updates. This is me, Bhavna Casey, and in this edition, we bring you the stories making headlines across the globe. From high-stakes meet to major political developments, geopolitical tensions, cultural celebrations, and remarkable feats. We have all that you need. Let's begin with developments on the Middle East crisis, where tensions continue across Gaza, Lebanon, Israel and Iran amid ongoing conflict and halted diplomacy. Fighting and political tensions involving Gaza, Lebanon, Israel, Iran and other regional actors remain at the center of global attention, with continued military operations, humanitarian challenges and diplomatic efforts still failing to produce a fruitful settlement. The Middle East continues to remain at the center of the global attention as the violence, humanitarian concerns and diplomatic tensions continue across Gaza, Lebanon, Israel and Iran. Tensions along the Israel-Lebanon border have intensified. A U.S.-brokered ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon has faced major obstacles after Hezbollah rejected key terms of the deal. Israeli forces have continued operations in southern Lebanon while cross-border attacks and security concerns persist. Iran also remains deeply involved in regional developments. Tehran has warned that continued military actions in Gaza and Lebanon could undermine the ongoing diplomatic efforts. Negotiations between Iran and the United States have stalled, raising concerns about broader regional stability and the future of security arrangements in the Gulf. The continuing conflict has also affected global energy markets. Uncertainty surrounding the Strait of Hormuz and broader regional security has contributed to concerns about well supplies and international trade. While in Gaza, military operations and airstrikes have continued despite repeated calls for a lasting ceasefire. Humanitarian agencies have warned that civilians are facing severe shortages of food, medicine, and basic services, while reconstruction efforts remain largely halted. Reports indicate that fighting and instability continue to affect large parts of the territory, and as fighting continues on several fronts, millions of civilians across the region remain caught between conflict, displacement, and economic hardship. In the United States, divisions over the Iran conflict are deepening as the House of Representatives moves to curb President Donald Trump's war powers.
The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a measure that seeks to halt President Donald Trump from taking further military action in Iran. The 215 to 208 vote, which is largely symbolic, was successful after 4 Republicans joined Democrats in a public show of disapproval of the war, which began in February.
On this vote, the yeas are 215 and the nays are 208. The concurrent resolution is adopted.
The vote was to adopt the War Powers Resolution, which requires Trump to withdraw U.S. forces or seek congressional approval for the conflict. It is unclear how much legal force this House measures would have. The White House has dismissed the merits of the resolution, saying it is an unconstitutional attempt to restrict presidential power. But its passing is significant because it adds to the pressure on the White House to find an end to the Iran war, as petrol prices have spiked and public opposition to the war has increased. This was the 4th attempt by the House to rein in Trump's war powers. The Senate advanced a similar resolution in May, but has yet to hold a full floor vote. The vote also marked the latest sign of division within Trump's Republican Party, coming just days after a revolt by conservatives in Congress led his administration to pull back plans for $1.8 billion anti-weaponization funds for political allies.
In Europe, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has renewed calls for direct talks with Vladimir Putin in a bid to end the Russia-Ukraine war.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has called for a face-to-face meeting between himself and Vladimir Putin in a renewed bid to end the war. In an open letter to the Russian president, the Ukrainian leader said it would be wrong to simply wait until the war in Europe becomes the focus of the US's attention once more, adding peace could only come through direct engagement between Ukraine and Russia. The Kremlin confirmed it had received the letter and Putin would be briefed on it. The tone of the letter was defiant, even mocking, drawing attention to Ukraine's recent strikes on Russian territory. Zelensky stated that after 26 years in power, age is beginning to take its toll on Putin. Putin said he was certainly prepared and willing to reach an agreement with Ukraine, but said compromises needed to be made. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump says it would be great for Volodymyr Zelensky to meet Vladimir Putin after the Ukrainian president proposed face-to-face talks with the Russian leader.
Well, I don't know. I'm glad that they're maybe talking about meeting. I think we had a lot to do with it. I know exactly what you're doing. But I think it would be great if they met. They should get it done.
Meanwhile, Putin suggested that as Trump was busy with Iran, the EU could talk Zelensky into surrendering territory. Putin's long-standing position has been that Ukraine should withdraw from 4 regions largely occupied by Russia, Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia, and give up its efforts to join NATO. Ukraine has ruled out ceding territory, saying it would embolden Russia to invade again, as it had in 2022 when it launched its full-scale war 8 years after illegally annexing Crimea. Ceasefire negotiations have stalled in recent months, and previous peace talks in Geneva, Abu Dhabi, and Istanbul have failed.
In South Asia, India's central bank has left interest rates unchanged despite the Middle East conflict threatening to stoke inflation and heap pressure on a weak rupee. The Reserve Bank of India held its policy rate steady and unveiled steps to pull in dollars, seeking to shore up an embattled rupee as the economy grapples with costly well and foreign outflows. The measures include scrapping capital gains tax for foreign holders of government bonds, sweetening dollar deposit schemes for non-resident Indians, and subsidizing hazing costs for offshore borrowing. Governor Sanjay Malhotra, while announcing the policy decision, said RBI's rate panel voted unanimously to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.25%.
After a detailed assessment of the evolving macroeconomic and financial developments and the outlook, the MPC voted unanimously to keep the policy repo rate under the LAF unchanged at 5.25%.
Malhotra further said the panel felt it was prudent to wait until greater clarity emerges.
Although risks of higher inflation have amplified, the MPC felt it would be prudent to wait for greater clarity to emerge.
Surge in crude prices and record foreign fund outflows have pushed the rupee down nearly 5% to historic lows since the Middle East conflict erupted late in February, fueling calls from some analysts for higher rates to defend the currency. Indonesia, the Philippines, and Sri Lanka have raised interest rates in recent weeks, while South Korea has held fire but signaled a turn is imminent. As the world marked World Environment Day, climate experts are warning that a developing El Niño could trigger more extreme weather, including heat waves, droughts, and floods across the globe. Experts forecast that the developing El Niño in the tropical Pacific Ocean could be one of the strongest on record, increasing the likelihood of global weather disruptions. Meteorological agencies and climate researchers say rising ocean temperatures linked to the phenomenon are likely to intensify global heat waves, prolong drought conditions in vulnerable areas, and trigger heavier rainfall and flooding elsewhere. Scientists have cautioned that the weather system could place additional pressure on food production, water supplies, and energy networks already strained by climate change. El Niño occurs when sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean rise above normal levels, disrupting atmospheric circulation and altering weather patterns worldwide. Previous strong El Niño events have been associated with severe flooding in parts of South America, droughts in Australia, Southeast Asia, and South Asia, and record-breaking global temperatures. Forecasters say current ocean warming trends indicate the developing system may rival some of the most powerful El Niño episodes recorded in recent decades. The warning comes as several countries continue to experience unusually high temperatures and increasingly erratic seasonal weather conditions. A record number of climbers have reached the summit of Mount Everest this season as the climbing season comes to an end. The season has drawn global attention due to concerns over overcrowding, record-breaking ascents, and a dramatic survival rescue near the base camp. A record number of climbers have reached the summit of Mount Everest this season, officials say, as the climbing window draws to a close with multiple record-breaking ascents. Nepal government's officials report that more than 900 climbers have reached the world's tallest peak, taking advantage of favorable weather conditions. Veteran Nepali climber Kamirita Sherpa, who recently completed a record 30-second summit of Everest, has renewed concerns about overcrowding on the mountain, saying this season felt a bit crowded and calling for stricter limits on climber numbers and higher expedition standards. Lakpa Sherpa, known as the Mountain Queen, set a women's record with her 11th summit, further highlighting a season marked by historic achievements. In a separate incident, a Nepali climbing guide who had been missing on Everest for 6 days and feared dead was found alive after crawling alone back towards the base camp. Dawa Sherpa was last seen above Camp 3 at around 7,500 meters height while coming down from the mountain after summiting. Hopes for his survival were slim as the air at that altitude is thin, but on Thursday, a clearing crew spotted the experienced climber who had frostbite on his hands but appeared to be in good condition, sliding slowly down. Meanwhile, 5 persons have died so far during this year's climbing season. 3 of them are Nepalis who were involved in the Everest expedition preparations. China's Shenzhou 2 crew has returned safely to the Earth after an extended 7-month mission aboard the Tiangong space station following a disrupted rotation cycle.
China's Shenzhou 21 crew has returned safely to Earth aboard the Shenzhou 22 after spending around 7 months in orbit aboard the Tiangong space station, a longer stay than the usual 6-month rotation for crews. In recent years, missions to China's space station have typically followed a steady rhythm, with teams of 3 astronauts rotating in and out roughly every half year to maintain continuous operation and scientific work on the station. However, this mission cycle was disrupted after a suspected space debris impact damaged the return capsule of Shenzhou 20, making it unsafe for re-entry. In response, China launched the uncrewed Shenzhou 22 late last year on an urgent replacement mission to ensure a safe return option for the stranded crew, who were later brought back using Shenzhou 21. More recently, Shenzhou 23 was launched on May 24 with a new team of 3 astronauts, continuing the station's ongoing rotation schedule and restoring the regular cadence of crew handovers. The sequence of missions highlights both the risks of orbital debris and the flexibility of China's rapid response space operations.
Eid al-Adha celebrations in Bangladesh took a surprising turn after a viral albino buffalo nicknamed Donald Trump for its unusual appearance was spared from sacrifice and instead sent to the National Zoo following widespread public attention. A buffalo in Bangladesh nicknamed Donald Trump because of its unusual flowing blonde hair has been spared from sacrifice after gaining widespread attention. The 700-kilogram buffalo is a rare albino buffalo with a thick pale tuft of hair that naturally forms a helmet-like style, closely resembling the distinctive hairstyle of Donald Trump. The animal was originally said to be slaughtered for Eid al-Adha, a religious festival where animals are traditionally sacrificed and the meat shared among family and those in need. However, after photos and videos of the buffalo went viral, public interest grew and calls to protect it increased. As a result, authorities decided to spare the buffalo. Instead of being sacrificed, it will now be cared at the National Zoo, where it will be kept under supervision and maintained as part of the country's animal collection. The case has drawn attention both locally and online, highlighting how an animal's unusual appearance and viral fame can change its fate. More than 1,800 people named O'Sullivan or Sullivan gathered in Ireland, setting a Guinness World Record for the largest assembly of people sharing the same surname and celebrating their shared heritage.
Over 1,800 people named O'Sullivan or Sullivan from across Ireland and around the world gathered in Castletownbere, County Cork, to break the Guinness World Record for the largest assembly of people sharing the same surname. The record, officially verified by Guinness, was previously held by a gathering of Gallaghers, also in Ireland. The event featured live music, traditional food, and family activities, drawing participants of all ages who travelled from as far as the United States, Australia, and Canada. Organizers said the gathering was not only about setting a record, but also celebrating the rich history and heritage of the O'Sullivan clan. Officials praised the community spirit, calling the event a remarkable testament to the bonds of family and culture. The successful record attempt is expected to boost tourism and strengthen connections among members of the global Irish diaspora. Participants described the occasion as a once-in-a-lifetime celebration of identity, ancestry, and community pride.
Thousands of spectators gathered on Hong Kong's island as the annual Bond Festival reached its climax, with finalists climbing a 14-meter-tall tower covered in thousands of buns in the traditional Bond scrambling competition. The annual Bond Festival has been held in Hong Kong, where 12 finalists competed in the traditional Bond scrambling competition by climbing a 14-meter-high tower covered with around 9,000 plastic steamed buns. The competition, regarded as the highlight of the centuries-old festival, drew thousands of spectators to the island as contestants raced against the clock to collect the highest-scoring buns placed near the top of the structure. Organizers said the event was conducted under strict safety supervision, with emergency crews and crowd control teams deployed throughout the venue. The cultural celebration, one of Hong Kong's most recognized folk festivals, also featured line dances, light displays, parades, and community performances, creating a festive atmosphere across the island. Rooted in Taoist traditions, the Bon Festival is held annually to mark prayers for peace, prosperity, and protection from misfortune. The event has also become a major tourism attraction in Hong Kong, blending religious customs with large-scale public festivities and drawing global attention for its unique Bon climbing contest. Hundreds of Sri Lankan Buddhists mark Baishak, one of Buddhism's most sacred festivals, with prayers, offerings, and sermons celebrating the birth, enlightenment, and passing of Gautama Buddha.
Hundreds of Sri Lankan Buddhists have gathered at the Kelaniya Buddhist temple to mark Vesak, one of the most sacred festivals in Buddhism. The occasion commemorates the birth, enlightenment, and passing of the Buddha, making it a deeply significant spiritual event for devotees across the country. Worshippers dressed in white took part in religious observances, prayers, and offerings at the temple, while monks delivered sermons reflecting on compassion, mindfulness, and the teachings of the Buddha. The atmosphere was both devotional and celebratory, with large crowds moving through the temple grounds throughout the day. In other parts of the city, streets and public spaces were transformed with colorful lanterns, illuminated displays, and decorative pandals depicting scenes from Buddhist stories. These vibrant displays are a long-standing Vesak tradition in Sri Lanka, symbolizing light, peace, and the sharing of the Buddha's message with the wider community.
The International Fireworks Festival has opened in Vietnam, kicking off a series of global competitions as teams from around the world light up the Han River with synchronized displays of music and fireworks.
The opening night of the Da Nang International Fireworks Festival has officially begun. Recognized by Travel Plus Leisure magazine as one of the 9 most worthwhile summer festivals on the planet, this year's Da Nang International Fireworks Festival promises a dramatic season with the participation of 10 competing teams from around the world. Vietnam and China are the 2 opening teams, while the Vietnam team aims to transform the Han River into a space that tells the story of the vibrant city through light. The Chinese team presents a performance titled Flower of the Orient. The performance offers audiences a vibrant picture of life and the aspiration for connection between humankind and nature, taking them on a journey through masterpieces of light, music, and art. Following the opening night, the competitions will take place every Saturday evening.
Well, this brings us to the end of this episode of The World This Week. We hope you enjoyed as much as we did bringing it to you. Also, do follow us on our website www.nepaltelevision.com, our social media handles, as well as our YouTube channel. Till then, take care and bye-bye.
Pokhara is undoubtedly #1 destination for tourists in Nepal. The valley, blessed with natural beauty, attracts domestic and foreign tourists alike. You must have already visited Pokhara. If you haven't or planning another trip, then these are some of the must-go places in Pokhara. The first attraction in Pokhara is the Pheva Lake. Boating in Pheva Lake is a ritual for every tourist visiting this paradise. The Tal Barahi temple at the center of the lake adds to the beauty of the place. A round-trip boat ride in Pheva Lake to and from the temple is a feature of both the lake as well as the temple. Separate boat ride, watching the reflection of Mount Machapuchri on the lake and fishing spice up the Pheva experience. The lakeside along the banks of the Phewa Lake is a popular tourist hub. Many tourists in Pokhara choose Devi's Fall as their second destination in Pokhara. The water from Phewa Lake exits towards Sethi River through the Gupteshwar cave from this Devi's Fall. The mighty water stream rushing deep down into the gorge, covered by water vapor, is a magical sight. Pokhara is known as the city of lakes and caves. Many of the lakes and caves have religious importance. This is Gupteshwar cave at Chorepatan area. Inside the cave, the idol of Lord Shiva is a well-known pilgrimage. Further inside the cave, one can see the Devi's Fall. Mahendra Cave is another famous place in Pokhara, and nearby is another well-known Chamere cave. Both the caves can be visited together. Two other well-known tourist destinations in Pokhara are Begnas and Rupa lakes. Fresh fish of Begnas Lake is a sought-after delicacy. Rupa Lake is just round the corner beyond a small hill towards the eastern edge of Begnas Lake. Away from the hustle and bustle of the town, Begnas and Rupa lakes cannot be taken out of a tourist's itinerary. This is the famous White Monastery on top of the hill above Phewa Lake. This is also a popular destination for domestic as well as foreign tourists. The top-angle bird's-eye view of Pokhara city from the monastery is a sight to behold. The placid Phewa Lake, the tall mountain range, and the birds like paragliding pilots on the background of Sarankot Hill are mesmerizing. The Bindabasini temple in Pokhara is a famous shrine in Nepal. The best route to visit the temple is on the way to Sarankot. Devotees throng the Bindabasini temple, which is atop a small hill with panoramic view of Pokhara city. The Bindabasini temple is famous among the Hindus across the country. Sarankot is a hill station on top of a hill on the northwestern side of Pokhara. A must-go place to see the majestic Mount Machapuchre and Mount Dhaulagiri in the Annapurna range in front of the eyes, and also the Pokhara and Leknath cities on the other side. Sarankot is synonymous to paragliding in Nepal. Taking off from the Sarankot hill, one can enjoy the panoramic mountain range in addition to the bird's eye view of Pokhara city. Ultralight and zip flyer offer a thrill to adventure seekers in Pokhara and are becoming major interests for tourists. Other places, including Swarak in Sangja, have the potential to be world's best place for paragliding. First time in Nepal, Paragliding Accuracy World Cup was held at this place, situated at Mahapur of Virkot municipality of the district. The place drew global attention after the event. Pokhara, famous tourism destination of the country. Majority of locals engaged in tourism industry. The city of lakes and caves, hub of aviation sports. Some major destinations: Lakeside, Phewa Lake and Tal Barahi Temple, Begnas and Rupa Lakes, Mahendra Gufa.
This is where art meets thought. Stories we watch and stories that watch us back. Stories that linger not just in the mind, but in that quiet, unspoken space of being human. Welcome to Creative Forum, where art is experienced, not just discussed. I'm Shivani Thapa Bosniak, and from the crossroads of Kathmandu, we're joined in by two extraordinary voices. One from Iran and the other guest from China. Civilizations that have, 4 centuries now, shaped the way humanity tells its stories. From the poetic soul of Persian traditions to the philosophical depth of Chinese thought, these are cultures where storytelling was never merely expression, but reflection, memory, and of course meaning. Professor Sun Zhan, Chinese media scholar exploring global storytelling, and our other guest, Mojtaba Bahadori, an Iranian filmmaker who travels the world finding humanity in the quietest moments of life. Both are in town as jury members of the Nepal International Film Festival 2026. Welcome to Kathmandu to both of you.
Hello to everyone. Hello to Nepal, to Nepalese people, to this wonderful, colorful, amazing culture that I'm very, very happy to be here and very excited actually. I had a chance to go out last days and I was so impressed by everything. People, they are praying in the street, they are moving around, full of the handicraft, full of people, full of movement. It's like a cinema. It's like a total cinema. Very happy to be here.
Nepali people give me, including the smile, the delicious food, and the very lovely students and the friends here.
Just to get started, I'm so curious to know, because both of you travel the world with the great work that you do and the great work that you carry around. Mojtaba, let me turn to you. Why did you pick storytelling?
Storytelling, I think, is a part of our culture as Iranian. So poetry and storytelling is a part of Iranian culture, and we're born with that. I feel like all the Iranians, they're born to be a poet or read poetry and tell a story through their poetry. In the opening of the festival, there was a director of Sholeh. You remember?
Ramesh Sippy, right?
Yes. I was so surprised because I remember I was a child in Shiraz. I born in Shiraz. I grew up in the south of Iran. And it was forbidden to watch foreign films, as it still is a lot of things forbidden in Iran. So people, they would hide video VHS around in a city, and we found a video VHS of the Sholeh. It was one of the first films I watched in my life. I never will forget the scene of the Sardevi.
Hema Malini.
Yeah, the lady, she's dancing on
the Basanti girl, right?
Yeah, in the broken glasses, yeah.
Yes.
It was so impressive how she can do that. Only in cinema you can have those scenes that people, they dance on broken glasses. Yeah, I think the story started by watching films in a very early age. Forbidden films, like anything is not Iranian or is not about Islamic culture, yeah. Which actually they structured our character. When I was a teenager, my father bought me a VHS camera, and I started to film things around of myself. I had only one video cassette, so I would film over and over that cassette. You remember, we could put it back or turn it back, and then
record the cassette tape.
Yeah,
right,
cassette tape. Yeah, so I will film one thing and then I would watch it several times, and then I didn't have any other film, so I would film it again on top of that. That started by that and theater. I started to write theater piece when I was 13. Always very, very influenced by things around of me, especially in the Persian culture.
Really amusing to know that your childhood or maybe your growing years were so much similar to that of us here in this side of the world, right? Pretty much amusing. How about China, Professor Shun? Why communications? Why did you even choose to come to this field?
I found, because China is a very large country, there are a lot of people living different places. 30 years ago, at that time, not everybody can speak in Mandarin, even at that time. And we have a lot of mineral races there. But now the things has been changing better and better day by day. And after I got my PhD, I became a lecturer, associate professor, and a professor in my university. I am the head of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. And I love mass communication because I got a PhD for mass communication, and later I choose my research about social media and online media, because my university focuses on high-tech knowledge and the computer science, AI technology as well. We have a lot of cooperation between different mayors, and I'm so interested in cross-cultural communication. When I came to Nepal 10 years ago, I was addicted by this country, by Nepali people. I love this country very much. So that's the starting point of my research about cross-culture communication. And I do appreciate everything.
It's so beautiful to see how Professor Jan enjoys Nepal, right? So both of you are here for NIF, and the one common thing that I really am curious about is you both come from civilizations where storytelling is ancient, it's layered, and it's deeply philosophical, right? And I wonder, when you engage with cinema today or filmmaking today, do you feel you are creating something new, or you're continuing something that has always existed in your cultures?
I think originality is not very important in a storytelling. Your story shouldn't be original, it should be truth. It should be deep and should be personal. So I don't want to tell original stories. I don't try for that. I try to say truth, or to say the stories that is close to my heart, you know. So I think in the end we are repeating the same story of the human being, yeah? But just we have different approach because we have different experience, or we experience the life differently.
Yes.
And like talking about love, you know, so many poetry about love, but they're all different because they have different approach to love. You know, they see the love in different things, or they try to explore it differently in each of them. I think the storytelling in a film also is the same. Actually, in a jury, as a jury, we have a section that we have to say how original is the film. And this is one of the sections I like less because that's not really important to me. But for me, is what is the impact of the film? You know, this is a part of the jury judge verdict that I give more importance to it. What was the impact of that film on me as an audience, as a person just was watching it, and also about that, you know, the technical part is very important sometimes to make things impactful, like the sounds, the video, the image, but still is less important than the subject and how we approach the subject. What we are telling, what was the story that we want to tell to our audience. So yeah, I think originality is not very important for me. But being true, yes.
Do you see films as an extension of that, you know, a Persian artistic tradition where meaning is, you know, often found when it is left unsaid? I mean, does your work more focus on the silences between the words and the sounds?
This is what we say in music. A note doesn't have a sense if there is no silence between notes. If you put two notes without silence in a continuity, it's like. But if you do it, there's a silence. So the music burns through the silence. I think the story also burns after the silence is established in a story. So we have this culture of the silence in Iranian cinema, like big names that many people they know, and I see also kind of Nepalese young filmmakers. They are quite familiar to the Iranian cinema. We have a lot of silence in Iranian cinema because we need that to reflect about what we hear. You know, we hear a sentence, then we have to listen to that inside of us also. So yeah, like my last film that it got the Everest Award here in NIF last year is full of silence because it's a story of a person who questions if the nature creates so perfectly in its imperfection, me as an artist, what I can create that is better than nature. Why we are creating, actually? So the answer is because we need to make sense for our life. Yeah. So I see the storytelling and artistic practice as a need for making sense to our life and also presenting a sense to other people, a proposal to other people. Okay, we can see the life in this way also.
From what I understand, you were born and raised in Iran,
yes.
and then later you shifted base to France, where much of your career has really, expanded and extended. So how has France changed you as a filmmaker?
I think France didn't change me, but what it changed me is the people that they listen to your story. And these people, maybe you can find them in China, in Nepal, in France. So I think I was lucky to be surrounded by people that they are interested in a story that I want to tell. And of course, I'm still very, very attached to the Iranian storytelling, Still, like in my film On Melting Snow, the main story comes from the poetry of the Rumi. So if we are cut from the origin, what will happen to us? Yeah? We will always go back to the origin, especially when we grow. We say, okay, I have to look back who I am. Yeah? The idea of who I am comes from the poetry of the Persian poetry of the Rumi. But then I shoot it in Iceland, partly in Belgium, and partly in North Africa, because I was looking for a very minimalist landscape. So I went to find those landscapes in different places in the world, from the Atlantic, from the north to the south of the planet. I would say French culture and cinema is very open to new voices, is very generous in listening, and I'm very lucky, I think, to be able to be part of that culture for such a long time. Yeah.
Chinese philosophy also has explored, long explored, like ideas of, ideals of balance, harmony, and of course, relationship between individuals and the collective, right? So how do these deeper cultural ideas there shape the ways stories are told?
China has long story in this world, and we have a bunch of philosophers of different sides, and it's related to our mind, to our heart, and to the relations between the families or with the others. And it is very important to keep our mind calm and peaceful. So that's why Chinese people always think balance is the most important thing in our life. And you are right, we think independent is related to your freedom as well. So we are so independent in this world, and we treat the others peacefully. That's why if you can understand that, so you can understand Chinese.
Mostaba, when we speak of Iranian cinema or films, right, it's almost impossible not to think of certain stillness, a certain honesty, right, a way of seeing that both feels so simple and at the same time profoundly layered. And in many ways, that language has certainly been shaped by masters like Abbas Kiarostami, whose classes you are so privileged to have attended. And I'm really curious, besides what he taught you about cinema, what has changed in you in a way that you see the world under his guidance?
I remember the first time I had chance to listen to him directly. He just came back from Africa, and where he made ABC Africa. It was just the beginning of the digital camera, and there was a handycam. You remember the handycam with the small films, yeah? So he asked his producer that is it possible to go to Africa to just see the location, to find the location where I can shoot my film. And they said, okay. So he went there with the two other person, and they started to film kids in an abandoned school, like in a school for kids. And the kids, they was interacting with the camera, those very teenagers. He went back, and he decided to make the film just with the rush that he filmed with his handycam. So no need to take a big camera. He told us something. He said, if you have a story to tell, don't wait for big cameras, for equipment and those kind of things. Just do it. If you have something to tell, just do it. Why you're waiting? What makes you wait so long, you know? And this is what I saw also in the Nepalese film. I watched, I think, over 30 Nepalese film in a section that I was part of it. And I see there is a lot of courageous film that they are telling their story with, you know, the minimum technical equipments, and that makes me so happy, because you can keep it as an idea and wait for the perfect situation, and sometimes never happens. But you can also take a little camera with your friends and just film your grandmother, I don't know, your sister, the people in your village, and tell the story that is important to you. So I'm very happy to see that in a Nepalese film, really. I'm very impressed by that. And also, I think, for me, the first thing I learned from Abbas Kiarostami is like, just do it. Don't wait for the perfect situation, because sometimes never you will have it. Just do it.
Thoughts of a true creator, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And even in your work, we can see a lot of simplicity of the similar kind, inspired maybe by Abbas Kiarostami. So is minimalism for you, or Shaba, an aesthetic choice, or is it a philosophical one?
I think if you want to emphasize one subject, you need to decide what you don't want to talk about it, right? It's like in a conversation, yeah? If I want to talk about the human condition in a certain place, why I have to talk about the things that is not connected to the human condition? So I think in the end, for being more precise, you need to be minimalist. You need to choose in the end. And, you know, I think in the end, for having clear mind also, you need to, what we do in a meditation, right? We try to just concentrate on our respiration, concentrate on the minimum that calls existence, right? I think the film for me also is the same. If I want to talk about the subject, I would like to make it just that, you know, put it there like a good chef cuisine, yeah? You put this little things there, then when you eat it, you feel it, you know. This is the idea.
Wow. I can listen to you like the entire day. It's interesting, right? This idea of saying more, you know, with less, you know, of trusting the audience, right?
Yes.
The minimalist approach in filmmaking, it's the purity with which that is portrayed is so beautiful to any aspirant or people who love real film and drama. Professor Zan, from your perspective as a media scholar, in today's very fast and very content-driven world, is there still space for this kind of quiet and very contemplative film?
Yes, and I think the the quiet is a kind of power, because it's from our mind. I do agree. Mashtaba says the truth is the most important thing in this world, even including the films, the fiction films, both fiction films and documentary films. And this year, I bring Xizang Panorama to Nepal again, and this is a second Xizang Panorama. And last year, I'm a jury and organizer, and this year I am a director as well. And because we listened to our audiences here last year, I found I should present a new Xizang to our audiences. Tell the world what's the truth in Xizang, how developed it is now. Because Xizang is a modern society, it has a high-speed train, bullet trains there. It has a lot of high-speed road, highways there, and the environment is still very good. We protect our environment very well in Xizang. We protected the lakes, the mountains, and the animals there. There is a story about a slow leopard. It will screen this afternoon. That's about how we deal with the relationship between the protected environment and the people's financial right. Because a slow leopard will go to the local people's house, around the house. The slow leopard ate the sheep. How can we deal with that? Because according to our policy, we have the compensation. The people can get the money back from the government, but still the local people felt angry about the ship's death, something like that. And from Nepal to China, we have the similar situation about the environment protection. And we also invited 9 young persons from 6 countries, from United States, Russia, Morocco, Italy, Cambodia, and Nepal. The 9 people visited Xizang this January, so we shoot a short documentary film about their visiting. They went to they experienced the new electronic cars, electronic vans. They have the test driving on the highway, and they also took the bullet train, and they went to the electricity power station and see all the development there. And they also experienced the bubble tea with other young generation, because in past times, Xizang people enjoy the butter tea with salt, but it's salty. But nowadays, more and people like sweet butter tea, and some people also enjoy the sweet bubble tea. That's very interesting, because the people there are having a new and modern life right now, and the culture and the philosophy is not stopped by the history, and every day is new, and I think the tradition is also on the way day by day.
So you mean to say that despite all the high-speed content trend that is ongoing, still the real-life experience is real and it's more important?
Yes.
Right? And why did you, besides promotion, Professor San, why did you choose to come back with the Xizang panorama to Nepal, to Nepal?
Yeah, Xizang panorama is very important because we releasing 6 films every year about Xizang. And Xizang is a border part between Nepal and China, and between the Himalaya regions and Himalaya mountains. We are really like the families and brothers. We are relatives and neighbors. That's very important for us to know each other. And there are some traditional and cultural aspects are the same between our Xizang culture and the Nepali culture. So we want to, approach the communication between the people in 2 countries.
Mustafa, the same question to you. How is the current trend of media, especially on the consumption side, where they're so fascinated into high speed and scandalized contents, affected you as a filmmaker, or has it even affected you?
Yeah, what Professor says is very, very right. The culture is not an object that doesn't move. It's something that constantly changes and is a part of this, heritage. The heritage is made every day. And what I see also, go back to the Nepalese film, I see like there is this really nationalism and this strong interest and respect for Nepalese culture via like Nepalese filmmaker, but in the same time, in a lot of films they try to change things, like the habits that exist in the families, the old culture that is not good for, So I think they are making culture by respecting their own culture. This is a constant change. The culture is born every single day, yeah? Yes. So I think also the speed, this fast culture is a part of the culture, yeah? The things going fast. But back to minimalism, you have to choose what do you want, yeah? So do you want to be constantly exposed by this fast world, or you decide to go with your own speed in the road that you choose to be in it, right? I'm like, it's very easy to be lost, to lose yourself, your mind in this fast world. I think it's necessary to have different type of cinema. I don't think one cinema is cinema and the rest is not cinema. Everything is cinema, you know, every different style of the cinema. But some people, they like this one and some the other one, and it's fine, totally fine. Yeah, I think, you know, this very slow cinema is like a reading Roman in all time, like a War and Peace of Tolstoy. It's like I tried to read it like maybe 20 times in my life. Always I went until the half, I didn't finish it, you know. So it's the time that, you know, there was in North Russia, it was cold and there was no internet, you couldn't go out. There was a snow until here behind of your door. You could read books like this, but today it's more difficult to read books like 5 Overture. So I think by your situation, you have to choose your speed also, you know. And it shouldn't be one thing and tomorrow not, you know. You can change. It's fine to change. It's very good to change. We have to be open to change. But my own cinema is a cinema that is impactful and is making me to think and brings me new question. You know, I watched this film yesterday in opening, the Iranian film. It's a wonderful film. Yes. It's about a man who wants to find a laptop for his daughter to be able to finalize her animation film, you know? 2 different words, but it's about a computer, about creating alone in your own room. So this is an impactful film. I love it, and it's quite, you know, maybe a bit fast for me, but still, I love it. It's impactful.
So let's continue talking about NIF, which brings you all to Kathmandu, right? So this place for many, as we have perceived from the feedbacks that we've been receiving from a long time, people in many ways find so many stories unfolding here, right? So, but you are both creative people in communications and filmmaking. So as you arrived here, not as tourists, but as storytellers, what was that thing that you took note of that perhaps others might have overlooked?
In the films?
No, in Kathmandu.
Right? I didn't still have so much chance to, you know, to discover the city. But, you know, it's a very kind and very attentive culture. It's a culture to make you comfortable and welcome you. I felt it since the first day I arrived here. And also, everyone does what they can to find a solution if there's a problem. So I love that. And I really, yesterday for opening, we was crossing this shopping mall. And I was seeing there is, you know, while I was going up, there was some people, they were selling sunglasses, but they were watching in their YouTube a video of dance, and I was like, so amazing. Now I'm going for opening of the festival of the country, and I see the real life while I'm in stairs. So it's a very true festival, true people, and the way they do it is very true, and I love that.
And how about the festival?
Festivals, films, you know, so far what I watched, I'm impressed. I think, you know, last year when my film got the awards, when I couldn't be here, still I didn't have a clear idea about Nepali cinema. But I was very happy to have an award called Everest Award. That was the name of the award that I received last year. And I was like, I definitely have to, you know, find the opportunity to go there. And when they invited me as a jury, I was, you know, I didn't hesitate even for a second. And the film, the Nepalese film, in particular, young Nepalese young filmmakers, they have so much things to say, and they have so much things to change respectfully toward their own culture. And we see that through the film. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see the films. It's very impactful.
Professor Jeanne, for you, Nepal, Kathmandu is like second home, right?
Yes.
So, yes. I mean, like, does Kathmandu feel familiar to you, or does it surprise you every time you come back?
Yeah, actually, every time Kathmandu surprised me a lot. And in recent years, I came back again and again, and I saw the changes by my own eyes. And every time I came back, I found the streets cleaner and cleaner. And I think the Nepali economy is raising up year by year. That's the happiest thing to me. And the Nepali friends are so kind and friendly, especially the common person on the street. Most of them are very friendly to you. Some kids will say hello to you, and some including the girls and boys. And every time I was touched by some flowers and plants, and then because every time I came here in different seasons, I saw different flowers. Sometimes I was touched by the flowers blossom in the corner or on the street or just on the window. I think that's the happiness about Nepali's common person's life, daily life, and I also very grateful for the changes of the cafeteria, and here we can experience different kind of foods, including Korean cuisine, Japanese cuisine, Italian cuisine,
Chinese.
Yes, Chinese, some snacks here, and Chinese noodles are popular here, and the prices are not expensive. The local young people tell me they love Chinese cuisine, especially from my hometown. I was born in Chongqing, a mountain city in China.
That amazing city that we see,
Yeah.
right, on all those videos.
Yes, I showed you before, and it is called AD Digital City. It's amazing, and one day I hope you to visit there. And I think, according to my opinion, Nepal will getting better, will be better and better in the future. Yeah, and the young generation, their how to say, their appearance is really active. Yeah, I like it.
Right, thank you. So before we wrap this up, there is one section where I get to ask you quick questions, and I request, you to give me very quick answers, maybe a word or just something that comes, into your mind right away.
Silence is accepted.
Sorry. I wish not. All right, so the first one is one film that made you feel deeply human, Moshtaba.
A Man Without Past after Aki Kaurismäki.
Is this an Iranian film?
No, it's a Finnish film.
Finnish
From
film.
Finland, yeah.
Wow. How about you, Professor Shun?
A Snow Leopard.
The Snow Leopard. Okay, wow. Silence in cinema or music?
Silence.
Silence.
Silence. A story you will carry with you from Kathmandu?
Being grateful.
People.
Grace, yeah.
Wow.
Love story.
Wow, okay. One word for Kathmandu.
The smell of oud is not one word, but the smell of this, what they turn on in a praying, the oud.
The
yeah.
incense. The incense.
Yeah, the smell
right.
of incense, yeah.
Joyful.
Joyful, all right. Story first or image first?
A story.
Story.
How do you see cinema today? Overwhelming or evolving?
Evolving.
One thing young filmmakers should hold on to?
Keep doing it. Yeah.
Don't stop.
Don't stop, yeah.
AI technology.
Wow, okay. Thank you so much for your valuable time, for taking the time to come over to NTV World Studios and being there at NIF. And yes, do continue your great job and keep inspiring us all the way.
Thank you very much for hosting us.
Yeah, thank you. It's our great honor. Yeah, thank you.
In the quiet between the poetic silence and the academic vision that I talked about, the two valuable voices that we had with us here in our studios, we really found a shared heartbeat, even among themselves. For the shadows of Tehran to the lights of Kathmandu, we are certainly reminded that while the world may break, the story remains whole. Thank you for being part of this Creative Forum episode, and until next time, this is Shivani Thapa, Busnet, signing off. Goodbye.
Bagmati province boasts the federal capital Kathmandu. Which is the center of attraction. Kathmandu Valley is a tourism hub of Nepal, as it has the only operational international airport of the country. Kathmandu is also the only entry point for those reaching Nepal by air. Bagmati province is also the place with the most tourist destinations and tourism-related activities. This province offers several attractions for both domestic and foreign tourists. Today, we take you to some of the beautiful destinations of Bagmati province, which is rich in culture and heritages. The capital of Nepal, the place with most tourist destinations, major destination for both domestic and foreign tourists. Province rich in culture and heritages. It is a beautiful valley of 3 districts, Kathmandu, Bhaktapur and Lalitpur. The valley offers best environmental conditions. The region is also considered exceptional in terms of historical, cultural and natural artifacts and political history. Let us visit first Pashupatinath, which is popular around the world among Hindu pilgrims. This is Pashupatinath temple. Lord Pashupatinath is the real name of Lord Shiva. Pashupatinath temple and the premises have long been the center of faith of Hindus around the world. It is one of the 7 World Heritage Sites in Kathmandu Valley. We now take you to another significant heritage in the valley, which is Swayambhunath. A popular monastery located in the west of Kathmandu. Thousands of tourists reach Swayambhunath every day. Foreign tourists who reach Kathmandu do not miss out on Swayambhunath. While domestic visitors flock to this heritage on holidays. Swayambhunath is one of the preferred destinations of tourists in Kathmandu. Another heritage is Bodhanath. Bodhanath is the center of faith for Buddhists. This is the largest hemispherical stupa of Nepal. The monastery is built on massive 3 layers. Heritage has become a preferred destination for both domestic and foreign tourists. Let us now go to Basantapur Darbar Square of Malla era in Kathmandu. This place can be a significant destination for those with an interest of study and research of history and handicrafts of the Malla era. This heritage holds a unique significance because of its location in the heart of Kathmandu with a lot of human movement. Basantapur Darbar Square draws both domestic and foreign tourists alike. Moving on, we head to Bhaktapur, which is rich in Newari culture. Bhaktapur Darbar Square is considered significant not only for its history, but also for its culture, art and handicrafts. With the objective of promoting nighttime tourism in Kirtipur, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. Yes, Bhaktapur is the smallest district of Nepal. However, it is the richest in terms of heritages. If you reach Bhaktapur but do not make it to Changunarayan, that would leave your trip incomplete. We are now taking you to Changunarayan temple to complete your Bhaktapur visit. This temple, which is located just 6 kilometers north of Bhaktapur city, is not only significant for its historic, artistic and religious aspects, but also for tourism. This temple, which is considered the oldest in the valley, was listed in UNESCO's World Heritage Sites in 1969. We now move on to Lalitpur, also known as Patan. Of the popular three cities of Kathmandu Valley, Patan is considered the oldest. Patan Darbar Square is located in this city. Extraordinary works of Newari art and craft can be seen in this region, which has been decorated with cultural heritages since the 17th century. Such richness tends to draw the tourists. Locals in Kathmandu might have visited all destinations around the city. However, these destinations could be new to foreign tourists and those from outside the valley. These are a few destinations for hiking around Kathmandu for a brief escape from the city. Let us now go to a few tourist destinations near Kathmandu for a couple of nights. Sauraha is one of the major tourist destinations of Nepal. It is considered the best destination for wildlife tourism. The main objective of reaching Sauraha is to visit the Chitwan National Park. Elephant ride, jeep safari and jungle walk are the ways to visit the national park. Find elephant ride the most interesting. Boating must not be missed in Sauraha. Watching the crocodiles in their leisure at the Rapti river bank is a pleasing feeling. Birds from up to Siberia can be seen during winter. A view of the sunset from the bank of Rapti river, a ride in horse, an ox cart, and Sauraha market area are other attractions of this place. Haru dance and culture further entertain the tourists. One of the most popular trekking trails of the world, Langtang National Park, lies in Bagmati province. Let's have a look at the specialities and attractions of Langtang. Langtang, which spreads across 6,440 meters in Sindhupalchok, Nuwakot and Rasua districts, is the first national park of the mountainous region. National Park includes popular mountainous valley Langtang, Kinjing and the pilgrimage site of Gosaikunda. Separate trails lead up to Gosaikunda and Langtang Valley inside the Langtang National Park. Rare species of red panda, snow leopards and wild dogs among other animals can be seen during treks in the region. The range of mountains, wild animals, bird watching, valleys and Gosaikunda, among other water bodies, are the major attractions of Langtang. Ruby Valley. Ruby Valley near Langtang is a new tourist destination. Ruby Valley in Dhading district is the closest destination to Kathmandu for trekking. Ruby is a precious stone. The valley is named Ruby Valley as precious stones including ruby and quartz are found here. animals at the verge of extinction, including red panda, mountainous range, lakes, beautiful settlements, yak, traditional cattle rearing. Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are two popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli river is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days. Alongside trekking, jungle safari, rafting, city charm and natural sceneries, Bagmati province is equally a good tourist destination for religious tourism. Bagmati province is also popular for religious tourism. There are some major religious shrines in the province. Bhimeshwar of Dolakha is one of the most popular religious destinations of the country. Based on the legends, any bad omens in the country are signaled by the statue of Bhimeshwar. Kalinchok has increasingly become the first preference of tourists in recent time. With the operation of cable car in Kalinchok now, it has increased the attraction for tourists. There is a religious belief that wishes are fulfilled after visiting Kalinchok deity. Gosaikunda, located in Rashwa district, which shares border with Tibet over China, is a very important religious and tourist destination. Religious fairs are held twice a year in Gosaikunda during Dasara and Janai Purnima. This is a great destination for those who prefer trekking and are of spiritual nature. Devghat Dham, along the border of Chitwan and Tanahu, is a well-established religious place among Hindus. Many followers reach this place on the day of Mange Sankranti. This is a popular religious destination among elderly people. There are immense possibilities of tourism in Bagmati province. There are no doubts on tourism aiding in prosperity of the province. However, it is imperative to promote domestic tourism alongside prioritizing foreign tourists. Bagmati province is ahead of other provinces in regards to tourism infrastructures. Most of the tourist destinations are linked by road networks, while there are airway services in many others to reach in a short period of time. Sound arrangements of hotels and homestays have been made for food and accommodation. Therefore, let us travel the country to keep the economy moving and achieve prosperity.
Welcome to the new episode of The Hinterlands on NTV World. This weekly show brings together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal, takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's rural landscapes. I am Rosina Rai and we will be leading you into this journey every week. Tonight on The Hinterlands, we bring you stories from across the country, ranging from the towering Himalayas to disputed borderlands and forgotten heritage sites across the country. We begin with the 76th anniversary of the first ascent of Annapurna First, followed by concerns from the Susta border region, a neglected archaeological site in Bhojpur, the historic Panchdeval in Dailik, awaiting preservation, and an inspiring story of a returning migrant turning to successful fish farming in Kanchanpur. We begin with one of the most majestic and formidable peaks on earth, Annapurna First. Long before Mount Everest was first summited, Annapurna First became the first 8,000-meter peak climbed by humans, marking a historic milestone in global mountaineering. This year marks the 76th anniversary of that first ascent, one of the world's most challenging and dangerous mountains. To mark the occasion, the 6th Annapurna Marathon was held under the slogan, Tourism for All Seasons, organized by the Annapurna Century Tourism Committee. June 3rd, 2026 marked the 76th anniversary of the first successful ascent of Annapurna First. This is considered as a significant milestone in global mountaineering history. One of Nepal's premier trekking destinations, the Annapurna Himalayan range rises to an altitude of 4,130 meters and attracts both domestic and international trekkers throughout the year. The peak was first successfully climbed on June 3, 1950 by French mountaineers Maurice Auzoc and Louis Lacanel, making it the first 8,000-meter summit ever conquered even before Mount Everest. According to the Department of Tourism, over 536 climbers have reached the summit so far. Marking the anniversary occasion, the 6th Annapurna Marathon was organized under the slogan Tourism for All Seasons by the Annapurna Century Tourism Community. The race route stretched from Annapurna Base Camp through Machapusre Base Camp, Bagar, Deurali, Himalaya, Chomrong and Kimrong Khola before concluding at Khandruk. Athletes from Jumla dominated the competition, sweeping both the men's and women's categories. In the women's section, Manju Rawat claimed gold, followed by Rajya Lakshmi Rawal and Kalpana Bura, completing a clean sweep for Jumla. In men's category, Dal Bahadur Kuwar secured first place with an improved performance, while Tilak Bahadur Sunwar of the Nepal Army finished second and local runner Sachin Gurung came third in the competition. Moving to the western plains of Nepal, residents of Susta in Navalparasi have expressed concern after reports that Indian authorities obstructed river control works intended to protect the area from flooding. With the monsoon season approaching, delays in embankment construction along the Narayani River have heightened fears of flooding and river erosion in this highly sensitive border region. Authorities and locals are urging timely intervention to ensure the safety of settlements along the riverbank. A report.
Construction of an embankment is currently underway along nearly 1 kilometer of the Narayani River in Susta, a historically significant Nepali territory located across the river. The federal government has allocated nearly 120 million rupees for the project to protect the area from riverbank erosion and seasonal flooding. However, plans to begin additional river control work about 132 meters from the current embankment site have been put on hold after objections from the Indian side. Although a contract for the extension has already been signed, local officials say work could not proceed after Indian authorities requested that construction be stopped.
सुस्ताको अपर पार्टमा चाहिँ थोरै चाहिँ बाँकी थियो हाम्रो काम गर्नलाई अनि त्यो सँगै अब हामीलाई अलिकति रिस्क हुन्छ भनेर हामीले आयोजनले चाहिँ सानो ठेक्का निकालिकन अब हजुरको सम्झौता गरेर हामीले काम अगाडि बढाउँदै गर्दाखेरि अब भारतीय पक्षले चाहिँ उहाँहरूले चाहिँ यो विवादित सीमामा चाहिँ हामी काम गर्न दिन्नौं भन्ने हिसाबले उहाँहरूले अलिकति इस्यु उठाएको हुनाले त्यो कामलाई चाहिँ हामीले अगाडि बढाउन नसकेको अवस्था छ.
Despite discussions between border security officials from both countries on Sunday, the Indian side reportedly maintained that the area is disputed and that no construction should take place without mutual agreement. Chief District Officer Deepak Raj Nepal said the matter has been reported to Nepal's Ministry of Home Affairs, adding that India has argued that any work in the area should move forward only through bilateral consensus.
यहाँ टेका लागेको ठाउँमा अब निर्माण कार्य अहिलेसम्म सुरु भएको छैन. निर्माण कार्य सुरु गर्नको लागि खास गरेर हिजो हाम्रो सशस्त्रको टिम र इन्डियाको एसएसबी टिमले अब बोर्डर निरीक्षणको क्रममा पनि नयाँ निर्माणको लागि अब दुवै पक्षबाट चाहिँ एउटा सहमति भए पश्चात चाहिँ गर्नलाई उपयुक्त हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ उहाँहरूले राख्नु भएको छ.
According to local residents, India has obstructed the project, claiming that the embankment falls within a disputed zone. Of Susta's total area of 40,980 hectares, around 14,000 hectares are said to have been encroached upon, while another 19,400 hectares remain under dispute, thus limiting local access and use. However, Rabindra Jaiswal, spokesperson for the Susta Protection Campaign, insists that the embankment is being built on Nepali territory and warns that failure to complete the project could put the very existence of Susta at risk.
यो जुन अहिले काम भइरहेको छ नि त्यो लगभग 14 करोड काम 3 महिनादेखि त्यो काम भएर पनि जुन अहिले थप 132 मिटर काम भएन भने जुन एसएसबीहरुले भारतीय पक्षलाई अवरोध गरेको छ भने त्यो सुस्ताको भूमि हामी जोगाउन सक्दैनौं किनकि त्यहीबाट नदी नजिक आइसकेछ. त्यहाँबाट नदी भित्र छिर्छ त्यसपछि पुरै सुस्ता सका पार्छ.
With the monsoon season just around the corner, local residents fear that any further delay in the river control project could leave Susta increasingly vulnerable to flooding and erosion. The dispute has once again highlighted the challenges of managing infrastructure and disaster prevention efforts in sensitive border areas.
Now turning to eastern Nepal, where rich archaeological heritage sites outside major tourist routes often remain overlooked and neglected. One such site is the Chulachuli cave located in Diteni Dalgaon of Ram Prasad Rai Rural Municipality in Bhojpur district. Despite its historical and cultural significance, the site has received little conservation attention and continues to await official recognition and preservation efforts.
The Chulachuli cave in Diteni, Dalgaon of Ram Prasad Rai Rural Municipality Ward 4 has been left in limbo for many years. As a result, the historic place is overshadowed in recent times. Despite ongoing conservation and development efforts by the local government, the site is poorly known due to insufficient promotion. This place carries the legacy of ancient archaeological standings that include various images of deities which can be seen carved in the stones here. There is a religious belief among the locals that wishes are fulfilled upon visiting religiously significant place known as Chulachuli Cave. Locals lament geographic remoteness and lack of promotion have prevented it to gain not only state recognition but also failing to gain global momentum.
यो प्राकृतिक हिसाबले दिएको संरचनाहरू चाहिँ जस्तो यहाँ तलतिर गएर ढोलहरू बजाउन सकिन्छ चाहिँ गाईको दुध थुनहरू चाहिँ यहाँनेर खोज्दै जाँदा भेट्न गएको कुराहरू यो प्राकृतिक बनावट नै छ त्यस हिसाबले पनि यो आकर्षक छ र यो प्रचारको कमीमा यो अलिकति ओझेल हुन गएको हो कि भन्ने हामीलाई चाहिँ लागेको छ
हामी भन्दा अग्रज हाम्रा बुढापाकाहरूले भने अनुसार यसलाई चाहिँ सानो हलेसी पनि भन्ने गरिन्थ्यो तत्कालीन समयमा.
Spread across approximately 2 ropani of land on a hilltop, the stones here are carved like riverbed boulders. Inside the cave, alongside statues of Lord Shiva and various deities, are carvings resembling an elephant's trunk, a cow's udder, and a serpent, according to local experts. Rural Municipality Chair Tham Bahadur Rai stated that conservation work and construction of various structures are underway under the Nepal Climate Adaptation Model Program. A detailed project report, DPR, is being prepared for broader development of the area, he said.
चुलाचुली गुफा अहिलेसम्म प्रचारको हिसाबले एकदमै पछि परेको गुफा हो. चुलाचुली गुफादेखि हामी माथि भुल्केको माथि डाँडाखर्क हुँदै बागबुङ पदमार्ग र त्यहाँदेखि उता पापमागम गढी जोड्दै नाक्साका हुँदै हाम्रो गोलमा राजा गोलमा रानीको एउटा रेन्जलाई चाहिँ हामीले आन्तरिक पर्यटनको रूपमा विकास गर्नको निम्ति यसको डिपिआर पनि भएको छ.
Addressing the issue, the rural municipality says it is putting effort in order to develop this religious and tourist destination within its jurisdiction, implementing a master plan.
Similar concern is seen in mid-western Nepal, where the historic Panchadewal complex in Dailek stands as a remarkable example of stone architecture. The site features 22 standing Sikhara-style temples, believed to date back to the 11th century, making it a significant cultural and archaeological landmark. Local authorities, along with the Department of Archaeology, have recently begun efforts to preserve and promote this site at a global level. The historic Panchadewal area in Dailek district of western Nepal carries the legacy of the ancient Sinja kingdom, reflecting the rich heritage and bravery of Karnali province. Located in Bhurti village of Ward number 6 in Narayan municipality, the site features 22 standing Sikhara-style monuments that attracts thousands of visitors every year. However, the area remained neglected for a long and was in urgent need of restoration. In a significant step in coordination with the local government and the Department of Archaeology, preparations have begun to declare the site as a protected heritage area. As many such heritage structures in Dailek continue to face the threat of deterioration due to inadequate conservation efforts. Believed to have been constructed around the 11th century, the Panchadeval complex, a remarkable example of ancient architecture, was recommended by UNESCO for inclusion in the World Heritage List in 2008. Despite this recognition, little substantial conservation work was carried out for many years. After an 18-year gap, a team led by the Director General of the Department of Archaeology conducted a field inspection. Ward Chairperson of Narayan Municipality, Janak Neupane, stated that the local government is committed to fulfilling all necessary criteria to advance the campaign for listing Panchadeval as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
क्षेत्रका मान्छेहरुसँग सहयोगको पुनः अपेक्षा गर्ने र हामी चाहिँ नि एकताबद्ध भएर यो सम्पदा सूचीका इन्डिकेटरहरु के हुन् ती सबै इन्डिकेटरहरु नागरिकको तहबाट स्थानीय सरकारको तहबाट पूरा गर्ने प्रतिबद्धता गर्न गर्छ.
There are more than 60 such historic devils and stone pillars within Narayan municipality alone. While some lie on private land, many have already been damaged or lost due to a lack of proper preservation efforts. And finally, a story that reflects resilience and opportunity at home. Amid rising labor migration trends, some returning workers are proving that meaningful livelihoods can still be created within the country. One such example is Bijay Chaudhary from Kanchanpur, a former migrant worker in the Gulf who has now transformed himself into an award-winning fish farmer, building a successful enterprise back home.
विदेश जानु जरुरत पनि छैन सर. चाहे जुनसुकै व्यवसाय भए पनि तपाई माछा पालन, गाई पालन, भैँसी पालन, बङ्गुर पालन, बाख्रा पालन जुनसुकै व्यवसाय यदि राम्रो तरिकाले गरियो भने युवाहरू जस्तै हामी विदेशमा 12 घण्टा 24 घण्टा नन स्टप चाहिँ त्यो त्यत्रो गर्मीमा हामी काम गरिरहेको त्यो त्यही हाम्रो यो मरुभूमि हामी नेपालमै त्यस्तो नेपाल सरकारले पनि अलिकति व्यवस्था गरिदियो भने त्यो हामी यही पानी र माटोमा सुन फलाउन सकिन्छ.
Like many Nepali youths, Bijay Chaudhary once believed that foreign employment was the only path to a better future. Driven by financial hardship and a dream of supporting his family, he spent 4 years working in the Gulf. But life abroad failed to give him the sense of purpose he was searching for. After returning home to Lalchari rural municipality in Kanchanpur, Chaudhary made a bold decision. Instead of living again, he chose to invest in Nepal. With limited savings and a strong determination, he started fish farming 6 years ago. What began as a small-scale venture has now grown into a successful and sustainable business. Today, fish farming is not only supporting his family financially, but also creating hope within his community. His success has inspired many local youths to rethink foreign employment and explore opportunities in agriculture and entrepreneurship at home. Recognizing his contribution, the government of Nepal recently honored Chaudhary as an outstanding farmer.
भूरा व्यवस्थापनमा धेरै खर्च हुन्छ सर. दाना र त्यो भूरामा र हामी प्रति कट्ठा 300 को दरले व्यवस्थापन गर्छौं भूरा र त्यसको दाना र पानी मल खाद मिलाएर मोटामोटी हामीले यो उसबाट 2.5 बिघाबाट लगभग 40 देखि 45 क्विन्टल सम्म माछा बिक्री वितरण गर्छौं र त्यो बराबरको त्यो व्यवस्थापनमा लगभग 6-7 देखि खर्च आउँछ हाम्रो र त्यो कटाएर 7-8 लाख जति वार्षिक हामी.
A demand for fish continues to grow in local markets. Chaudhary is steadily expanding his business. With that inspiring note, we came to the end of this episode of The Hinterlands. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you again next week with more stories from across Nepal's hinterlands. Do follow us on our website, nepaltelevision.com, social media handles and YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye for now.
Trimmed mustache, mirrored shades, and an unmistakable smile, Tenzing Norgay Sherpa climbs a steep hill in Khumbu. It's May 1991. After 38 years, he's returning to meet his old climbing partner, Sir Edmund Hillary, the man with whom he first stood atop the world.
It's good to see you. My goodness. Yeah. Hi, Nicky. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Hi. Long time.
Yes, certainly. Did you have a good walk up?
Very well.
Good.
Fine.
Sagarmatha, head of the sky. Chomolungma, the mother goddess of the world, or simply Mount Everest. A mountain with many names, yet for generations it meant only one thing: the impossible. Since the 1920s, climbers from around the world had tried to conquer it. Many never returned. Avalanches, storms, frostbite, the mountain refused them all. Then on 29 May 1953, Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa of Nepal stood together on top of the world. The world woke up to the headline, "Everest is conquered."
This is the BBC Home Service. Here is the news. Mount Everest has been conquered by members of the British expedition. The news reached London in a message to the Times. It said that Mr. E.P. Hillary, a New Zealander, and Tenzing Bhutia, a Sherpa, had reached the summit last Friday, May 29th.
Among the 35 men in the team that made history was Kancha Sherpa, the last surviving member of that expedition. He passed away in October 2025. He remembered the climb as hard but joyful.
छमुल्लौं बना हामीले सुनेको छ हामी के काममा जाने त्यहाँ जाने कामै थिएन अब यहाँको मान्छेहरू चाहिँ तल लोबेजसम्म बस्छ त्यहाँबाट त हामी जाने कामै छैन अनि तेन्जिङहरू त हेरेर आएर पो माथि एभरेस्ट चाहिँ हामीले थाहा पायो नभए हाम्रो गाउँै भए पनि हामीले के जाने कामै छैन गाह्रो भयो हजुर मलाई गाह्रो त के जानु नस्याङ्ने के अब कहिले पनि जस्तो काम गरेको छैन त पनि त बारी बोकेर त खरबासमा जानु पर्यो यहाँ हातमा डोरहरू समाउनु पर्यो यहाँ आइसँग समाउनु पर्यो यहाँ बारी थुप्रो बोकेर जानु पर्यो अनि त साङ्गुमा जानु पर्यो अनि माथि जुल्रेर जानु पर्यो अनि गाह्रो त एकदम गाह्रो छ तर यस्तो काम पाएर धेरै खुसी भयो नि
Hillary loved Khumbu and Khumbu loved Hillary. He dedicated his life for the region and its people. In the decades that followed, Everest became a symbol of determination, not just for men, but for everyone who dared to dream. In 1993, Pasang Lamu Sherpa became the first Nepali woman to stand on the summit. Her journey was marked by courage and struggle.
पैसा हुनु पर्यो यसमा आफैले लगानी गरेर खर्च गर्नु पर्यो रोयल्टी तिर्नु पर्यो अब आफूले सँगै लाने ग्रुपहरुलाई चाहिँ खानाहरु हुनु पर्यो लुगाहरु एकैमैको पैसाहरु हुनु पर्यो त्यसकारणले चाहिँ यो पैसाकोले नि पैसाकै समस्याले गर्दाखेरि पनि अगाडि बढ्न नसकेको हो तर यहाँ एउटा ट्रेनिङको महिलाहरुलाई चाहिँ यो माउन्टेन एरिया क्षेत्रमा एउटा ट्रेनिङको व्यवस्था बन्दोबस्त पनि त्यति साह्रो राम्रो छैन.
For some, the climb is a personal test. For others, it's a way to uplift an entire nation. Of the many record holders from Nepal, Apa Sherpa, who's also known as the Super Sherpa, had reached the summit 21 times before announcing his retirement.
म यो रेकर्डको लागि चल्ने भए त
म आज पनि चढ्न सकेको छु नि तर म रेकर्डको लागि होइन मैले हाम्रो देशको लागि हाम्रो राष्ट्रको लागि माथि पहिले सुरुवातमा त आफ्नो पेसा भनौँ न अब पुरा नै हाम्रो राष्ट्रको लागि भनौँ पहिले सुरुवातमा त आफ्नो पेसाको हो तर त्यो लास्टमा म चढिरह्यो भने त्यो त तपाईँको उस जस्तो देखिन्छ कि कम्पिटिसन जस्तो देखिन्छ कि मलाई त्यो मेरो चाहिँ नि त्यो कम्पिटिसन होइन र म राष्ट्रको लागि हो त्यसैले मैले अब 2011देखि मैले सन्यास लिएर अपसेवा फाउन्डेसन खोलेर शिक्षा सबभन्दा इम्पोर्टेन्ट चाहिँ के छ हाम्रो शिक्षा एजुकेसन छैन भने हामीलाई धेरै गाह्रो छ मैले खैराहरूले पनि भन्दैछु विदाउट एजुकेसन वे नो चोइस एजुकेसन इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ त्यसपछि हाम्रो वातावरण त्यसैले हाम्रो नेपालको लागि म त्यो दुईवटालाई जोडेर मैले सपोर्ट गरिरहेको छु
Over time, the story of Everest has changed. Each climbing season now brings not only adventurers, but also income and impact. In 2024, Everest generated nearly 676 million Nepali rupees, almost 80% of Nepal's total mountaineering revenue. The fee for foreign climbers has been revised now to $15,000 each. So far, more than 8,000 summiteers of different nationalities have climbed Mount Everest. Many more aspire to reach the top of the world. To ease the pressure on Everest and promote other regions, the government of Nepal has opened 97 peaks that range from 5,970 meters to 7,123. One can climb these mountains in the Western Karnali and Sudur Pashchim provinces without having to pay royalties. As voices increase for the need of having summited at least one mountain over 7,000 meters in the country before bidding for the Everest, these 97 peaks are likely to be training ground for summiteers. With success, Everest has also seen a heavy burden. In 2023 alone, more than 75 tons of waste were collected from the Everest region. This included plastic, metal, oxygen bottles, and even human waste. The mountain has also been plagued by fatal climbing attempts.
यसपालिको भन्दाखेरि त अब लास्ट इयरको पनि मरेको लासहरू अझै पनि छन् माथि बाटोमै पनि त्यो लासहरू देखे हामीले यो 8,300-400 मिटरमा बालकुनीमा त्यो लासहरू पनि अझै भइरहेछ र फोहोरहरू पनि सजकल पनि टन्नै फोहोरहरू छ पहिला हामीले अब शहरमा त अरू सङ्घले पनि 2011 मा सफा त गर्यो त्यत्रो फोहोर ल्याए 10 टन फोहोर पनि धेरै नै ल्याएको त्यतिखेर त्यति ल्याउँदा पनि अझै फोहोरहरू चाहिँ एकदमै छ भनौँ न टाइममा अब राज्यले चाहिँ किन त्यसलाई चाहिँ अलिकति व्यवस्था के अब कुन हिसाबले हुन्छ त्यो फोहोरलाई अलिकति तल ल्याएर अलिकति सफा गर्यो भने एभरेस्टको लागि अलिकति विदेशीहरुको लागि अलि राम्रो होला कि भन्ने चाहिँ हामीलाई लागेको छ.
Sagarmatha has taught the world to dream higher, but now she asks us to care deeper. The greatest climb perhaps isn't upward, but inward. "70 years since the first ascent, much has changed, but one thing has and will remain constant. Everest has and will continue to stand tall and keep challenging human abilities."
शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि.
The number of devotees collectively chanting, admiring and understanding these holy chants has reached 2 billion all across the world now. This implies that the population following Buddhism is increasing by the day. Buddhism rests upon the principle that one must be empathetic, kind, and exonerate towards all living beings. Love, brotherhood, and mutual harmony is the only way towards peace at present, when the whole world is entangled within warfare, fighting, and conflicts. Anyone seeking for peace can find it within themselves on internalizing the words and messages of Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha, also known as the Light of Asia, established himself as the preacher of Buddhism and enlightened the whole world with his message of peace, awareness, kindness, and wisdom. Buddha sacrificed his whole life urging for the need of truth, justice, and altruistic feeling within mankind. Gautama Buddha was born in Lumbini. It lies in the western part of Nepal in Rupandehi districts of the Lumbini zone. Lumbini has been protected under the World Cultural Heritage Site since 1997 AD. In the year 1896, the then senior officer of Palpa, Kharga Shamsher, and German expert Dr. A. Fuharer jointly carried out the work of archaeological excavation and investigation of Lumbini. After some period, archaeologists located the commemorative Ashok pillar erected by King Ashok of India during ancient period. With such facts coming in front, Lumbini caught attention of the people all around the world. Among the most significant heritages of Lumbini are Ashok Pillar and Mayadevi Temple. It is believed that Mayadevi gave birth to Siddhartha Gautam in 623 BC at the very spot where the temple is located at present. The then Mayadevi temple, however, remains only in the pictures and in imaginations. Renovation and repair works have already changed the original structure of the temple. Nevertheless, with the new structure, this temple has embraced a divine outlook in it. Not only the temple, but the whole Lumbini region is in the process of planned reconstruction and development. The visit of the then General Secretary of the United Nations Organization, U Thant, in the year 1967 brought together the notion of Lumbini Area Development Project. Under a master plan of the Japanese archaeologist Professor Kenzo Tange, the project was initiated in the year 1978. Lumbini Area Development Project Master Plan spreads in the area of 3 miles. Major attraction of this project is the Mayadevi temple premises. This holy garden has emerged as a peaceful, religious and spiritual hub as well as the center for tourists. This garden, located in the southern part of the temple, has assimilated a number of objects of archaeological and historical importance. The whole area appears magnificent with a calm lake and beautiful parks. The temple displays numerous artifacts built in different centuries. These works shed light upon the historical importance of the temple. It is assumed that works of repair and renovation were carried out time and again since the reign of the Maurya dynasty till 8th century BC. The outer wall of the temple spreads 26 meters in the east-west and 21 meters in the north-south direction. During its excavation, 5 rooms in the east-west and 3 rooms in north-south direction were discovered. 3 of these rooms are square and the remaining 5 are rectangular in shape. There is an ancient Mayadevi idol showing the birth of Lord Buddha inside the temple. This idol is also known as the birth idol. The remains inside the temple date back from 5th century BC to the 7th century BC. Marker stone, alias birth stone, is placed safe above a Maurya period brick inside a deep room. This clearly depicts the exact place where Lord Buddha was delivered. This stone is around 25 steps north of the Holy Lake. Other evidential objects uncovered from excavations are kept as it is for devotees and other tourists to explore and to study. Ashoka pillar near to Mayadevi temple is believed to have been erected by King Ashoka in 249 BC during the 21st year of his enthronement. The Utkirna stone inscription engraved in this pillar in Brahmi script is a historical proof that Lord Gautama Buddha was born here. This is the most reliable historical and archaeological archive to learn about the birthplace of Lord Buddha as well as to explore Lumbini itself. A 5-stanza writing of 90 words written in Brahmi script, the first script that Buddha learned, is engraved in this pillar. Archaeologist Dr. A. Fuhara verified the writing in 1896 AD. This script attests huge and significant information about Lumbini. In the northern side of the Ashoka pillar lies Puskarini, or the holy pond. Legends say Mayadevi took the holy dip prior to the birth of Lord Buddha in this pond, and that baby Buddha too had his first bath. Architectural fragments of different size and shape collected from various excavations are protected in the southeast, northeast and western direction of the Mayadevi temple. On close examination of the temple, the tradition and technology of Maurya dynasty is revealed. Some monasteries are constructed using the remains of Lord Buddha, while some other incorporates the remains of his followers, and few others have been constructed in Buddha's reminiscence. These monasteries depict the then art, custom, religion and tradition. In the northern side of the holy garden, towards the center, lies the eternal peace flame. The peace bell and a 3-kilometer long and 16-meter wide canal. One can also view the World Peace Pagoda from here. The canal divides the whole area into 2 sections. Towards the eastern monasteries, 13 plots are designated to Thur Buddhist and 29 plots are allocated to Mahayani Buddhist in the western monasteries. In eastern region, various countries and Thur Buddhist organizations have constructed a number of monasteries following their native architectural texture. Myanmar, Sri Lankan, Indian, Cambodian and Thai government, including Nepalese, have constructed stupas and guest houses in these areas following the agreement with Lumbini Development Trust. Similarly, most of the western plots have been occupied with similar stupas, monasteries, guest houses and meditation centers constructed by various organizations or Government of Nepal, China, Vietnam, France, Japan, Austria, Bhutan and Mongolia, among other nations. In these monasteries, Buddhists perform their regular worship, enchantments and meditations according to their own customs. In the northern side of the new Lumbini village area is the 41.5 meter long and 49 meter cylindrical World Peace Pagoda. Fujiguru of Japan is said to have constructed similar pagodas in different locations all over the world during his journey of finding peace. World Peace Pagoda was designed by Japanese architect Dr. Minoru Ohuka. This pagoda came into operation since 1995. Built in traditional Japanese design, the upper part of this pagoda holds metallic artifacts exhibiting the birth of Lord Buddha. Lumbini Museum and Lumbini International Research Center are other important places to visit once one reaches Lumbini. These buildings, constructed in pagoda style, portray an architectural masterpiece in themselves. Inside Lumbini Museum, the archaeological remains found during the excavation of Lumbini area are preserved inside a large hall. One can easily gather information about the birthplace of Lord Buddha and the then contemporary society and culture exploring these heritages. Within the building designed by Professor Kenzi Tange himself, Lumbini International Research Center has been established. More than 3,500 research materials and texts on Buddha, Buddhism, history, philosophy, knowledge, and teachings of Buddha can be found here. For the visitors' comfort, the center has provided the facility to read texts on different languages, including Sanskrit, Chinese, Japanese, Turkmen, Burmese, Thai, Nepali, and Nepal languages. There is an easy access of air as well as terrestrial transportation to reach Lumbini. The nearest airport to Lumbini is the Gautama Buddha Airport located in Bhairahava. One can also take roadways from different cities of Nepal to reach Lumbini easily. Situated in northwestern side of Kathmandu, Lumbini is 327 kilometers far from the capital. From the Indian border Sunauli, it lies in the distance of a mere 26 kilometers. Visitors can find ample bus, cabs, rickshaws, and other transportation means to explore the whole area of Lumbini. Accommodation in Lumbini is again not a big deal. There are a number of hotels, lodges, and restaurants ranging from expensive ones to medium and cheap motels in the market area. Within Lumbini area also, one can easily find guest houses, monasteries and stupas constructed to accommodate the visitors. The overall development works of Lumbini is spearheading on the basis of Lumbini Development Master Plan. Lumbini Development Fund is effortful to accomplish Lumbini Development Master Plan and to protect and preserve the overall Lumbini area. If you are planning to travel the birthplace of Lord Gautama Buddha, the holy Lumbini, we cordially invite you to explore all these spots of historical and archaeological importance, all related to Lord Buddha. You can travel around to see the ancient palace of King Suddhodana, father of Lord Buddha in Kapilvastu, and the debris of the earliest capital of Shakya kings, Tilaurakot, still preserved with high importance. This palace is located around 27 kilometers far from Lumbini. Lord Buddha, as the prince, spent 29 years of his life in this palace. Prince Siddhartha Gautama abandoned the royal livelihood in search of Mahanirvana, or enlightenment. In the year 1898 AD, Indian archaeologist P.C. Mukherjee, following the description of Chinese traveler Hu Yansanga, and unveiled the unknown facts about Tilaurakot after his 4 months-long research and excavation works. He mentioned that the Tilaurakot palace stretched in the area of 1,700 feet north-south and 1,300 feet east-west direction, was surrounded by walls up to 8 to 12 feet. The main entrance gate had Buddha stupas and monasteries in both the sides. All these buildings are under excavation and protection at present. Mukherjee has also maintained that King Suddhodana ruled his kingdom from the same palace. Hence, no doubt remains on the fact that the present Tilaurakot was ancient Kapilvastu. Archaeological debris as well as ancient palace and east-west entrance constructed since 4th century BC to 2nd century BC can be observed vividly now as well. Another historical site of Lumbini is Kudan, also known as Lauri Kudan, around 28 kilometers southwest of Lumbini. Myths have it that Lord Gautama Buddha met his father King Suddhodana at this very spot for the first time on returning to his hometown Kapilvastu after attaining enlightenment. Others say Prajapati Gautami, Gautam Buddha's foster mother, handed him Kayas Vastra at this place. Some others also claim that at this very site, Gautama Buddha's son Rahul transformed into Buddhism and turned a saint. Inscription held the existence of 4 walls and 1 buried well at this place. However, only 3 walls can be seen at present. According to Dewala Mitra, on the southern side of this lies 1 rectangular wall, and another wall has a snake temple on the top of it. In the largest wall, located at northeast direction, idol of Lord Shiva and the remains of other idols can be seen at the top. "500 meters north of King Suddhodana's palace lay 2 stupas. Experts say these stupas are the graves of King Suddhodana and his queen Maya Devi. The larger stupa has the area of 52 feet and is 75 feet high, whereas the smaller one has the area of 26 feet. The larger stupa is said to be constructed in the 4th century BC and was reconstructed 3 times during the 2nd and the 1st century BC. Similarly, the smaller stupa is believed to have been constructed in between the 2nd and the 1st century BC. Devadaha, that lies in Bhawanipur of Rupandehi, is said to be the maternal home of Siddhartha Gautama. Inscriptions say that Siddhartha Gautam spent 7 years of his childhood in Devadaha. Also, it is believed that he, upon attaining enlightenment, paid a visit to Devadaha. Devadaha is also popularly regarded as the maternal home of Queen Maya Devi, Queen Prajapati, and Princess Yasodhara. 10 idols are established in a single row in the eastern wall. However, the structure of all other idols besides one of the sun god in the center is unclear. This place, serving as an open museum, still needs a rigorous research and study to explore more about Kolia Kingdom. Ramgram Monastery has been constructed in the sidelines of Jharahi River towards 4 kilometers southeast of Parasi of Nawalparasi district. 7 meters in height, this monastery was constructed, establishing 1 metallic remains of Lord Buddha in its base. This monastery is one among the 8 monasteries constructed worldwide with the metallic remains in their base. This monastery was constructed upon the order of the king of Ramgram. He was the 8th king to receive the remains of Lord Buddha. Buddhist religious texts say that King Ashoka was in his mission of collecting remains of Lord Buddha from all 8 monasteries to construct the 84,000 stupas. But he was not allowed to extort the remains of Lord Buddha from Ramgram Monastery. Around 9 kilometers north from Tilaurakot lies a pond named Sagarwa or Lambu Sagar. The pond has high significance with regard to its archaeological value. This pond is popularly recognized as the spot where Koshal rural king Naresh Birudhak killed the thousands of Shakyas at the same time during the 5th century BC. Inscriptions have it that this pond extends 1,059 feet towards the length and 225 feet towards the breadth and was discovered in 1895 AD. However, only few remains, and a mark of the pond can be traced here at present. Gotihawa is renowned as the birthplace of Manushi Krakuchandra Buddha. It is also said that Krakuchandra Buddha met his father at the very place after attaining nirvana. Debris of Ashoka pillar, ancient well, bricks and other remains can be retrieved in the buried form from here. Major Wada and P.C. Mukherjee excavated Gotihawa in 1895 AD and mentioned that Krakuchandra Buddha was born here. Araura is an ancient town situated 8 kilometers northeast of Taulihawa. Araura is regarded as the location of Kanak Muni Buddha, but scientific research is necessary to trace further facts of this town. Meanwhile, manuscripts have it that Niglihawa, 7 kilometers far in the northern side of Taulihawa, is the birthplace of Kanak Muni Buddha. It is the same place where he got enlightenment. They also say that archaeologist Dr. Fuhara discovered inscriptions in ancient stupas at this very place. In the western side of Nigli Sagar, one of the Ashoka pillars can be seen in 2 pieces. In an inscription written in Brahmi script, Pali language, it is mentioned that King Ashoka erected this pillar when he reached Kapilvastu. When he reached Kapilvastu Lumbini during the 3rd century BC, King Ashoka was said to be in pilgrimage. These pillars, 15 feet long, have engraved figure of peacock in one of the pillar and another has Om Mani Padme Hum carved in it. This holy land of Buddha has a large number of places and objects of historical and archaeological importance. Many are still under the grave of Mother Earth, left to be extracted and excavated. After watching this documentary about Holy Land of Lord Buddha, you need not reach far to realize peace. Reaching this sacred birthplace of Lord Buddha will be enough to experience eternal peace. This holy land is the source of world peace. Lumbini is the center of serenity and harmony among all the people in the world. World Cultural Heritage Site and Shakya sage Gautama Buddha's birthplace is a precious gift for the whole world.
Nepal's Prime Minister terms BIMSTEC a dynamic platform for regional cooperation, also urges for stronger connectivity, economic integration and regional resilience. Nepal's Foreign Minister Khanal holds talks with Indian counterpart Jaishankar in New Delhi. Discussion focuses on trade, connectivity and energy ties. Monsoon expected within a week as Nepal braces for delayed onset. Delay pushes temperatures higher across the country. US and Iran exchange strikes in Gulf in latest test of ceasefire. Tehran responds by targeting US bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Russia says Ukrainian drone hit St. Petersburg. Attack comes a day after Putin rejected talks with Zelensky. And Nepal suffers 69-run defeat to Hong Kong in ACC Women's Premier Cup. However, advances to quarterfinals despite defeat. Good evening, I am Aprila Gising Lama and this is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. The details now. Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah has described the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC, as a dynamic platform for regional cooperation, stating that it reflects the region's diversity, vitality and shared potential. In a message issued today on the occasion of BIMSTEC's 29th anniversary, he stressed the need to strengthen connectivity in transport, trade and digital networks in order to promote deeper economic integration among the economies. Highlighting that BIMSTEC's long-term strength lies in its people, Prime Minister Shah called for further efforts to promote tourism, create opportunities for youth and entrepreneurs, and enhance resilience against risks arising from climate change and natural disasters. The statement also noted that Nepal remains fully committed to close cooperation with member states in building a more connected, resilient and prosperous BIMSTEC region. Nepal's Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal and India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a bilateral meeting in New Delhi. It is reported they discussed issues including bilateral trade, investment, connectivity, energy and people-to-people relations during the meeting. Khanal said that Nepal is fully prepared to advance cooperation between the two countries in a more concrete and meaningful manner across multiple sectors. Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar described India-Nepal relations as special and based on a strong foundation. Jaishankar also noted that even amid ongoing geopolitical tensions in Middle East, India has ensured uninterrupted fuel supply to Nepal, underscoring the stability of bilateral relations. Earlier, in an interview with Indian channel NTV, Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal has said that the government of Nepal was ready to further strengthen and reset ties between Nepal and India. Moving on, Nepal's monsoon is expected to arrive in approximately 1 week, according to the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology. The Met agency said the monsoon has already reached the southern Indian states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu and is progressing northward through the Bay of Bengal. Nepal's average monsoon onset date is June 13th. However, this year the monsoon reached India later than its average arrival date of 1st of June, prompting meteorologists to project a delayed onset in Nepal as well. Meanwhile, the delay in monsoon arrival and the lack of rainfall have intensified heat conditions across several parts of Nepal. Temperatures have climbed to around 40 degrees Celsius across the Rise districts, while persistent hot winds have disrupted daily life and affected agriculture and outdoor labor in several parts of the country. We will look more into this in our segment Issue of the Day later in the bulletin. Now, Russian authorities say Ukraine has launched an unprecedented attack on and around St. Petersburg as the city hosts the final day of Russia's annual economic forum. More than 140 drones were shot down over the surrounding Leningrad region, Governor Alexander Dorensko said, while the city's Governor Alexander Beglov urged residents to remain indoors for the first time since the war began. Ukraine's president said his forces hit Russia's arsenals and a naval base in what he called a just response to Russian attacks. It comes a day after Vladimir Putin told the forum there was no point in meeting Volodymyr Zelensky, who had called for direct talks on ending the war. Now, the shaky ceasefire between the US and Iran has been tested further, with American forces targeting Iranian drones and radar sites and Iran firing missiles at US bases in the Gulf. The US military said it intercepted 7 missiles fired by Iran at Kuwait and Bahrain after Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said it attacked enemy bases in the region. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi responded to accusations that Lebanon is being used as a bargaining chip in talks with the US leveled by Lebanon's President Aoun, saying if this were true, Iran could have secured a deal a long time ago. Meanwhile, an Israeli attack on southern Lebanon killed 2 Lebanese army officers and 1 soldier. Nepal has suffered a 69-run defeat against Hong Kong women's cricket team in its final group stage match of the ACC Women's Premier Cup held today. Chasing a target of 110 runs, Nepal was bowled out for just 40 runs in 13.3 overs after a dramatic batting collapse. Hong Kong's bowling attack dominated the match, with Ikra Sahar producing an outstanding spell of 4 wickets for 4 runs from her 4 overs. Earlier, after losing the toss and being invited to bat first, Hong Kong posted 109 for 3 in its allotted 20 overs. Despite the defeat, Nepal has already secured qualification for the quarter-finals before the match advances to the knockout stage of the tournament. Now, Nepal's Tarai battles an intense heat wave, and people are finding new ways to cope as soaring temperatures disrupt everyday life. After the break, we'll look at how they are surviving the scorching conditions amid the delayed arrival of the monsoon. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Welcome back. Nepal's southern plains are enduring a brutal and prolonged heat wave, disrupting daily life, shutting schools and emptying markets across the Tarai. With a delayed monsoon and a new El Nino emerging globally, forecasters warn that worst may not be over. Smito Gising Tamang looks more into this issue.
Nepal's Department of Hydrology and Meteorology says a western low-pressure trough in the upper atmosphere is driving the country's weather, with heat wave conditions still possible across the plains of Madhesh, Bagmati, Gandaki, Lumbini and Sudur Paschim provinces. This is the latest chapter in a summer already rewriting records. On May 25th, Nepalganj recorded its highest ever 24-hour maximum, 42 degrees Celsius. At the peak, Bhairawa hit 44 degrees, while Dangari and Nepalganj recorded 43. On June 3rd, the department formally declared a heat wave in the central Tarai after temperatures crossed 40 degrees for 3 consecutive days. Markets fell silent, schools shut across multiple districts. The cause is a clash of atmospheric systems. The monsoon, normally arriving around June 13th, is running late this year, and even when it arrives, the outlook is sobering. Nepal's Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has forecast below-average rainfall across most of the country for the June to September season, with above-normal temperatures expected to persist. Globally, a larger climate signal is now emerging. The World Meteorological Organization, WMO, is warning governments to prepare for a potentially strong El Nino, one that could, in the words of WMO Secretary General Celeste Saulo, exacerbate drought and heavy rainfall and increase increase the risk of heat waves both on land and in the ocean. The WMO puts the probability of El Nino developing between June and August at 80%. For South Asia, the WMO's Regional Climate Forum has already confirmed below average monsoon rainfall is expected this season. At home, Nepal's meteorological records show 2024 already logged 50 extreme heat days above 40 degrees Celsius. This summer is on pace to surpass that. Authorities say over 226,000 citizens are expected to be impacted during this monsoon season through heat, floods, and landslides. Disaster plans are in place, but for millions of daily wage workers and farmers across the plains, those plans offer little shelter from a sun that right now shows no sign of relenting. Smita Gising Tamang reporting for NTV World.
With no immediate arrival of monsoon and subsequent rising temperatures, we asked the general public on how their daily lives have been affected by scorching heat. Let's hear what they had to say.
सबै सुकिरहेछ अब तपाईँ 11 बजेदेखि हावा सुरु हुन्छ 4-5 बजेसम्म हावा चल्छ तातो हावा अब यही प्रत्यक्ष देख्नुहुन्छ तपाईँ सुकेका चिजहरू यो भर्खर ल्याएको यो ताजा यो हिजोको यो अब यहाँ सबै सुकिरहेछ काला केराहरू मेमा केरा कालै
यो गर्मीले गर्दा साँच्चै भन्यो भने दोकान व्यवसायहरू मान्छे निक्लेकै छैन निक्लिने अवस्था पनि छैन यस्तो धेरै चरम गर्मी छ एकदम धेरै गर्मी छ र असर साँच्चै नै परेको छ
के गर्मी बढेको छ राति सुत्न पनि पाइए छैन यो बिजुलीको पावर पनि छैन कहाँ गयो पंखा कता घुमेको छ मान्छे कता सुतेको छ केही पनि थाहा छैन एकदम लास्टै गर्मी छ
अहिले 2-4 दिनदेखि गर्मी असाध्यै बढेको छ यसले गर्दा अब हिँडडुल गर्नलाई एकदम गाह्रो भइरहेको छ र जसले मजदुरीहरू गर्नेहरूलाई पनि धेरै गाह्रोको अवस्था भएको छ
अति चाहिँ अप्ठ्यारो परिरहेको छ हिँड्न डुल्न बहुत गाह्रो भएको छ व्यापार व्यवसाय चौपट छ
Nepal has rolled out new customs rules for travelers, setting revised limits on items such as mobile phones, televisions and gold jewelry. After the break, we explain what the changes mean for passengers and which goods could now face duties or inspection at the border. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Time for the cover story. The government of Nepal has introduced revised customs provisions for passengers entering Nepal through Tribhuvan International Airport and other entry points. Under the new rules, items such as mobile phones, televisions and gold jewelry will be subject to defined limits, exemptions and inspection-based clearance. Authorities say the changes aim to streamline import procedures while clearly defining duty-free allowances and penalties for excess goods. Rojina Rai, along with our local correspondent Kamal Aryal, digs deeper.
Government of Nepal has introduced a new customs rules for travelers entering via Tribhuvan International Airport and other entry points. Items such as mobile phones, televisions and gold jewelry are now subject to inspection and may be taxed, exempted or confiscated depending on quantity and category. Nepali citizens returning after at least 1 year abroad can now bring a television up to 65 inches duty-free, up from the previous 32-inch limit. However, the earlier provision allowing Social Security Fund members to import any size TV duty-free has removed. Travelers are also allowed to carry a power bank. Gold jewelry limits have been set at 25 grams for men and 50 grams for women without duty. Excess amounts are taxed by 3% and higher quantities of raw gold face increasing duties or confiscation if beyond 100 grams. Passengers may bring one used laptop or tablet, one desktop or computer, one watch, one camera, one video camera, and one mobile phone duty-free. Returning workers after 6 months abroad may also bring one additional new mobile phone without duty. For land border entries from India and China, travelers can bring goods worth up to 500 Nepali rupees duty-free, up from 100 rupees last year. Existing exemptions for Nepali students returning from India with the laptops and computers remain unchanged.
That was the cover story of the day. Now we move to other updates. Nepal's Minister for Information and Communications, Dr. Bikram Timilsina, has said the ruling Rashtriya Swatantra Party has no excuse to follow the political practices of the past that it has itself questioned. On a different note, the Communications Minister acknowledged complaints regarding poor mobile and internet networks in rural areas. He said works are at progress to significantly improve mobile and internet network connectivity across the country within a year.
नेपाल सरकारको सूचना तथा सञ्चार मन्त्रालय चाहिँ मैले त्यो मन्त्रालय अन्तर्गत काम गरिरहेको हुनाले यहाँ विभिन्न किसिमका अन्य कामहरू गर्नको लागि पनि नेटवर्क जस्तो टेलिकम्युनिकेसनमा काम गर्नको लागि एजुकेसनमा स्मार्ट एजुकेसनमा काम गर्नको लागि पहिलो बेसिक निड भनेको चाहिँ नेटवर्कको सस्टेनेबिलिटी हुन्छ भन्ने महत्त्वलाई सरकारले बुझेको छ। आउँदो 1-1.5 वर्षभित्र देशभरि नेटवर्कका समस्याहरू समाधान।
The district-level conventions of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party has kicked across Nepal. According to a decision of the party's Central Committee, district conventions are being held in 37 districts today, while conventions in an additional 29 districts are scheduled for Sunday. On the occasion of the district conventions, RSP President Rabi Lamichhane said that all party members must demonstrate patience, sacrifice, and dedication to fulfill the responsibilities entrusted by the times. In a social media message regarding the conventions taking place this weekend, Lamichhane said the time has come for the party to transform from I to we, emphasizing collective leadership and unity. Meanwhile, addressing the inauguration of the Kathmandu District Convention, RSP General Secretary Kabindra Burlakoti said the party aims to complete conventions in 67 of Nepal's 77 districts before its first National General Convention. He stated that nepotism, favoritism, and dynastic politics are explicitly prohibited by the party statute and warned that no one should be allowed to mislead members or create confusion that could weaken the organization during the convention process. Moving on, an eviction drive has been launched to clear encroached land along the Janakpur Dham Bhitamod Road section in central Nepal. The Postal Highway Directorate Project Office in Janakpur has begun removing structures built within the road's right-of-way. Officials said buildings constructed on road land near Pipara Bazar in Pipara Rural Municipality of Mohottari had obstructed the long-stalled road expansion works. Despite repeated notices to clear the encroachment, locals did not comply, prompting the use of excavators to remove the structures, according to engineer Bikas Jha of the Postal Highway Directorate. He said the removal of illegal structures and encroached land along the road has been intensified to facilitate road expansion and improve transportation. Meanwhile, local residents have alleged that their houses are being demolished forcibly, despite claims that they had already vacated the road area and built homes accordingly. They say they had left the required 82-foot road when constructing houses after the road expansion plan was announced in 1998. Families displaced from high-risk settlements in the Kathmandu Valley and relocated to temporary shelters are facing difficulties at the accommodation sites, citing overcrowding, lack of privacy, and long queues for basic facilities such as toilets. According to officials, 1,488 people from 388 households are currently staying in 7 holding centers across the valley and surrounding areas, including facilities in Bode, Bhaktapur, Kharipati and other locations. Authorities said 54 households have been placed in Bode under coordination between the Ministry of Urban Development and local bodies as part of ongoing relocation efforts from unsafe settlements in various districts. While some families have left the shelters for rented accommodation, the government's announced monthly assistance of 15,000 rupees has not yet been dispersed, with officials saying bank account processes are still underway. Now the effect of various policy measures implemented by the Indian government have begun to be felt in the tourism sector of Sudur Paschim province. The significant decline in the number of foreign tourists entering Nepal through India has hit the tourism business hard. While only 1 foreign tourist arrived last year in 2025, the number of tourists entering Nepal via Sudur Paschim border checkpoints through India has fallen to 0 this year. We have more in this report.
The number of foreign tourists arriving through Nepal-India border checkpoints in Sudur Paschim province has seen a sharp decline. The decline in tourist numbers is attributed to new rules and policies introduced by India for foreign nationals. As per the data from the Immigration Office at Mohana Kailali in 2024, tourist visas were issued to 30 foreign nationals and the movement of 32 persons departing Nepal was recorded, giving a total of 62 in the immigration log. While in the first month of 2025, only 1 foreign national was issued a tourist visa. Shanti Budha, information officer at the Immigration Office in Kailali, stated, after India restricted foreign nationals from transiting through its territory to enter Nepal, tourist arrivals have dropped sharply.
इन्डियाले गर्दा चाहिँ अब त्यो बन्द रहेको अवस्थाले 2025 मा चाहिँ हाम्रो जम्मा एकजना चाहिँ आउन पाउनु भयो उताबाट प्रस्थान लगाएर एकजनालाई अराइभल चार्ट दियौं भने डिपार्चरमा चाहिँ हामीले 4 जना यहाँबाट पठायौं त्यसपछि चाहिँ पठाउँदा चाहिँ यो जनवरी तिर पठाउँदा 2 जनाको हाम्रो डिपार्चर क्यान्सल गर्नु परेको भएर त्यसपछि औपचारिक जानकारी नआए पनि इन्डियाबाट चाहिँ हामीलाई बन्द भएको अनौपचारिक रूपले चाहिँ नपठाउनु होला भन्ने जानकारी भएको भएर अहिले चाहिँ पुरै आवागमन चाहिँ
Although tourism activities had been gradually returning to normal following the COVID-19 pandemic, the decline in foreign tourist arrivals has directly affected the tourism business in Sudur Paschim province. Tourism operators note that the number of foreign visitors has decreased even at major tourist destinations in Sudur Paschim, including Khaptad, Suklaphata, Dodhara Chandni and Badi Marika. The study of Nepal Rashtra Bank and other official sources also highlights the number of Indian and third country tourists has decreased compared to the previous period.
Harvest को roadways को गड्डा चौकी र यो गरी 2टा नाकाहरू छन् हाम्रो इन हुनलाई अनि पर्यटनको हिसाबले मुख्यतः र खास गरी अब यो एरियामा बस्ने पहिला नेपालीहरू विदेशी पासपोर्ट होल्डरहरू अब घर आउने क्रममा चाहिँ त्यसरी पनि आउने गरेको छन् भिजा एक्सटेन्सन भिजाको म्याद थप गर्ने एउटा भिजादेखि अर्को भिजामा चाहिँ रूपान्तरण गर्ने जसरी टुरिस्टलाई चाहिँ रिलेसन भिजामा रिलेसन भिजा दिने मेरिज भिजा दिने कामहरू पनि भइरहेको छ.
The decline in foreign tourist arrivals is seen to not only reduce the income of the tourism sector in Sudur Paschim province but also impact the local economy. Tourism operators have urged the government to coordinate with India and take tourism-friendly policy initiatives.
The local climate adapted living project implemented in Vijayanagar rural municipality of Kapilvastu under Nepal's Ministry of Forest and Environment and UNCDF partnership is showing positive results in rural development and climate resilience. With an investment of about 27.2 million rupees, the project is improving livelihoods, strengthening climate adaptation and boosting agricultural productivity. A delegation led by Australian Ambassador to Nepal, Simon Instone, visited the municipality to review the project's progress. More in this report.
The local climate adaptive living facility, local project, being implemented in Vijayanagar rural municipality of Kapilvastu, is emerging as a successful example of Nepal's effort to strengthen climate resilient development at the local level. Implemented by the Ministry of Forest and Environment with support from the United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, the project is helping communities adapt to the impacts of climate change while also improving livelihoods and rural infrastructures. A delegation led by Australian Ambassador to Nepal, Simon Instone, visited Vijayanagar to assess the progress of the initiative. During the visit, the team reviewed development projects worth around 27.2 million rupees, equivalent to 179.46 thousand $, focused on boosting agricultural production, expanding irrigation facilities, improving market access, and enhancing climate resilience. The delegation also inspected key infrastructures, including the thoroughly Bhata Steel Truss Bridge, upgraded market centers, and lift irrigation schemes, which are expected to benefit local farmers and strengthen the rural economy. Local representatives said the project demonstrates how climate financing can support Nepal's development priorities by improving livelihoods, increasing agricultural productivity, and building resilience among vulnerable communities there.
जलवायु प्रभावलाई न्यूनीकरणका लागि हामी गाउँपालिकाले पनि विभिन्न खालको सामुदायिक वनहरू साझेदारी वनहरूलाई हामी सपोर्ट गर्ने कुराहरू र फलफुलका बिरुवाहरू रोप्ने कार्यक्रम हाम्रो कृषि शाखा अन्तर्गत कार्यक्रमहरू सञ्चालनमा छन्.
Local officials and participants also expressed confidence that the initiative will contribute to the long-term socio-economic development of the area and serve as a model for climate-adaptive local governance across Nepal. The rural municipality has reaffirmed its commitment to prioritizing climate-resilient and people-centered development programs in the years ahead.
Now, before we move on to the international updates, let's have a quick recap of the headlines. Nepal's Prime Minister terms BIMSTEC a dynamic platform for regional cooperation, also urges for stronger connectivity, economic integration and regional resilience. Nepal's Foreign Minister Khanal holds talks with Indian counterpart Jaishankar in New Delhi. Discussion focuses on trade, connectivity and energy ties. Monsoon expected within a week as Nepal braces for delayed onset. Delay pushes temperatures higher across the country. US and Iran exchange strikes engulf in latest test of ceasefire. Tehran responds by targeting US bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Russia says Ukrainian drones hit St. Petersburg. Attack comes a day after Putin rejected talks with Zelensky. And Nepal suffers a 69-run defeat to Hong Kong in ACC Women's Premier Cup. However, advances to quarterfinals despite defeat. US President Donald Trump said in an interview with NBC News that Iran still has about 21% to 22% of its missile stockpile remaining. He added that while Iran's production capacity has been significantly degraded, the country still retains some operational missiles and drones despite recent strikes.
They have some left. No, but I know almost to the number, and we know where they are too. And we know where their drones are, and we know where their drone factories are. Most of the drone factories have been knocked out. Most of the launching pads have been knocked out, and most of the missile manufacturing areas have been knocked out. But they still have capacity. They have some missiles. They have some drones. I would say percentage-wise, maybe 21, 22% of their missiles. It's a lot of missiles, but it's not what it was when we first attacked.
Now, hundreds of supporters of the Cockroach Janata Party, CJP, a satirical social media movement, gathered in New Delhi to protest alleged irregularities in India's major competitive examinations. Demonstrators wearing paper cockroach masks demanded the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over question paper leaks and technical failures in national exams. The protest follows the cancellation of a nationwide medical college entrance examination after investigators uncovered a paper leak, sparking widespread criticism and concern among students. The movement, which has attracted millions of online followers, was led by Avijit Dipke, a Boston University graduate who arrived from the United States to join the demonstrations. CJP emerged after reports that Chief Justice Surya Kant compared government's critics to cockroaches and parasites during a court hearing, triggering backlash among young Indians. Moving on, the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, and the World Health Organization, WHO, launched a joint continental preparedness and response plan on the ongoing Ebola outbreak caused by the Bundibugyo virus. The plan aims to raise $518 million to support African countries together with partners to prepare for, rapidly detect and respond to outbreak. The plan also focuses on protecting vulnerable populations, strengthening cross-border collaboration and supporting countries to respond quickly to new cases. At a time when there are no licensed vaccines or therapeutics specifically approved by the Bundibugyo species of Ebola, the plan aims to strengthen health systems to ensure resilience even as countries respond to acute health emergencies. Now, Pope Leo XIV said that sexual abuse within the Catholic Church remains an open wound as he arrived in Spain for a week-long state visit. Pontiff, on his first trip to the country since assuming the papacy, was welcomed in Madrid by King Felipe VI, Queen Letizia and Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez at the Madrid airport. During the visit, Pope Leo is scheduled to meet victims of clergy sexual abuse, a long-standing issue that has shaken the church in Spain. A 2023 report by Spain's National Ombudsman estimated that around 200,000 minors suffered abuse since 1940, prompting a compensation agreement between the government and the church earlier this year in March. Now, a worsening air leak aboard the International Space Station prompted 5 astronauts to take shelter and prepare for evacuation for roughly 2 hours on Friday as Russia attempted to fix a crack on its portion of the orbital laboratory, NASA said. The 4 astronauts of NASA's Crew 12 mission aboard the station, 2 Americans, a French astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut, along with another U.S. astronaut, were ordered by NASA Mission Control at 9 a.m. ET on Friday to center their SpaceX-built Crew Dragon spacecraft docked to the station. NASA reversed that order roughly 2 hours later and told the astronauts they could return to the station as the agency and its Russian counterparts examine the rate of leaking air. NASA and Russia's space agency Roscosmos, the station's 2 primary operators, have debated for months over the cause and potential fixes of small air leaks aboard Russia's Zvezda service module, a key structure of the ISS, a football field-sized orbital laboratory where astronauts live and work in space. Roscosmos said on Friday that its experts had detected 2 leaks aboard the ISS, but that there was no immediate threat to the crew. The rare yellow lip reverse tulips have begun blooming in the Turkey's Kars, adding vibrant colors to the region's breathtaking landscape. Following nearly 10 days of intermittent rainfall, the endemic flowers emerged in the Suldere area, located at an altitude of 2,500 meters and about 10 kilometers from the district center. Surrounded by snow-capped mountains and pine forest, the blooming tulips have attracted nature enthusiasts and amateur photographers. The yellow-lip tulip, a unique species of reverse tulip, grows naturally only in the Suldere region, making it one of the area's most remarkable natural treasures. Let's take a break for now, and when we come back, we will be back with more in the business front.
India's economy grew by 7.7% in the 2025-26 fiscal year, accelerating from 7.1% in the previous year, according to recent government data. Despite ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, the country's GDP expanded by 7.8% in the January-March quarter. Data from the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation showed the primary sector grew by 3.2%, supported mainly by agriculture and fisheries. Key sectors including manufacturing, trade, hotels, transport, communication, broadcasting-related services, and real estate recorded double-digit growth during the fiscal year. Global goods trade remained resilient in the first half of 2026, despite disruptions caused by the ongoing Middle East conflict, according to the World Trade Organization. The WTO's goods trade barometer edged down to 101.7 from 102.3 in January, signaling a potential slowdown in merchandise trade growth while remaining above the long-term trend. Barometer values above 100 indicate above-trend trade volumes, while values below 100 suggests that goods trade has either fallen below trend or is likely to decline in the near future. Strong demand for AI-related electronic components helped offset some of the conflict's negative impact, with the electronics index rising to 105.5. The export orders index also remained slightly above trend at 100.5, indicating continued trade activity. The WTO forecasts global merchandise trade growth of 1.9% in 2026, but warned that higher energy prices could reduce growth to 1.4%, while sustained AI investment could provide an additional boost of 0.5%. The U.S. economy created 172,000 jobs in May as pubs, bars, and restaurants ramped up hiring ahead of the World Cup, according to the government reports. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS, said that they were primarily created in leisure and hospitality, local government, and healthcare. The figures cover the lead-up to the World Cup tournament, set to begin next week, which is being jointly hosted by the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. The BLS said leisure and hospitality businesses created 70,000 jobs in May, a jump from the average monthly increase of 14,000 for the prior year. It also added that firms selling food and drink specifically were responsible for 48,000 of those. However, there have reportedly been concerns raised that while hiring is up ahead of the World Cup, a subsequent economic boost will not follow due to sky-high prices of the tickets.
Time for a sports update. Milan Kulung-Rai has won the 32-kilometer Langtang Trail Run, an international-style mountain race held in the Langtang region of Nepal. The race saw Rai finish first with a time of 2 hours, 16 minutes and 43 seconds. Dheeraj Bahadur Buddha of Jumla secured second place, while Bishar Rai of Pachthar finished third. In the women's category, Anjali Gurung of Kathmandu took first place, followed by Shushila Tamang of Nuakot and Austria's Anna Lena in third, underscoring the event's growing international participation. Organizers said more than 100 runners, including foreign athletes, took part in the trail run, while it is aimed at promoting Langtang as a global adventure tourism destination. Officials said the competition reflecting Nepal's increasing visibility on the global trail running and endurance sports map. Lionel Messi is recovering well from a recent muscle injury and could feature in Argentina's final World Cup warm-up matches. Argentine head coach Lionel Scaloni has said the 38-year-old Messi suffered a muscle strain while playing for Inter Miami 10 days ago, raising concerns over his fitness ahead of the World Cup.
Y Leo viene bien, se entrenó ya una parte con el grupo, que eso es importante. Ya no está totalmente diferenciado, así que viene bastante bien. Incluso puede ser que forme parte de alguno de los partidos, algunos minutos de estos dos amistosos. Ya veremos si el de mañana o el otro, pero está bastante mejor y eso nos da tranquilidad.
Reigning world champions Argentina will face Honduras in Texas on Saturday before playing Iceland in Alabama on Tuesday in their final friendlies ahead of the World Cup. Moving on, animals at Mexico's Guadalajara Zoo have been enlisted to predict the outcomes of matches at the FIFA World Cup 2026. Zoo veterinarian Ivan Reynoso said elephants selected Mexico over South Africa, while the gorillas backed Uruguay over Spain. A puma predicted a South Korea victory against the Czech Republic, and giraffes chose the Republic of the Congo to beat Colombia. Now the predictions come just days before the 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off on June 11. The tournament, the first to be jointly hosted by the United States, Mexico and Canada, will feature a record 48 teams competing across 16 cities in North America. Now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. And before we wrap up, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nepal's Prime Minister terms BIMSTEC a dynamic platform for regional cooperation, also urges for stronger connectivity, economic integration and regional resilience. Nepal's Foreign Minister Khanal holds talks with Indian counterpart Jaishankar in New Delhi. Discussion focuses on trade, connectivity and energy ties. Monsoon expected within a week as Nepal braces for delayed onset. Delay pushes temperatures higher across the country. US and Iran exchange strikes engulfing latest test of ceasefire. Tehran responds by targeting US bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Russia says Ukrainian drones hit St. Petersburg. Attack comes a day after Putin rejected talks with Zelensky. And Nepal suffers 69-run defeat to Hong Kong in ACC Women's Premier Cup. However, advances to quarterfinals despite defeat. That is all for the moment. Do join us through our social media and visit us at www.nepaltelevision.com for more information and news. I am April Singh Lama. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.